well. We'll have the map veto system for you up here in just a moment so we can go through exactly where we will and won't play. Remember that with the best of 3, one team will ban one map, the other team will ban the other, and then both teams will pick maps, ban 2 more, and then we set us up for the time.
The first pick is the first map in this series, so it's ban, pick right after, and then ban, decider.
Are the bans from NIP going to be both Coastline and Villa? That's going to be the real question
You'd be
here.
surprised.
Well, you just banned Coastline out, and now Border will be map number 1.
Are they gonna,
Where will Team 1 go?
They lock Villa? Kafe Dostoyevsky.
So, we are guaranteed to see no duplicate maps. Is this going to be a Villa ban from Ninjas in Pyjamas? No, it's a bank ban. So we might actually have Villa as the tiebreaker here, which I think would suit NIP just fine.
Yes. I don't think they... Yeah, there we go.
And that's exactly what it will be. It'll
Not
be Villa.
surprising.
So where we started the day, we may need to end the day if it goes to all 3 maps, which, if the history of Latin America qualifiers are anything to consider, they're very unlikely.
I mean, NIP played Villa as their final map in their series to qualify for Invitational. And I believe it was against Liquid, was it? No, Liquid were already qualified. No, were they? I don't think so. I think they were playing
Six Invitational.
Because it was 2 teams that made it out of it. So they were in the top bracket, and they played on Villa. That was
Six Invitational. I think there was 2 qualifier spots for Latin America,
yes,
if I remember
it was
correctly.
both
Yeah, it was Liquid and
NIP.
NIP. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they played against one another in that, and Liquid kind of dropped off, and they had to play the second game to qualify to Invitational. And then you take that reaction, you post it on Twitter, and a lot of people are happy because they can see their team very happy.
Yeah.
We'll see which team will be excited.
Saw the same thing with Cyclops today when they won the APAC LAN.
Oh, yeah, and then they went to the gym.
You go to the gym?
Yeah, I went yesterday. The day you go to the gym, on your own or with me and or BK or Valley, I really want to say like something, we'll take you out for food, but it's literally the opposite of what we need.
What do you think about this matchup? Who's going to win? I would not be too surprised to see NIP take this. They are probably the crowd favorites, I would guess.
Yeah.
And we'll wait to see. 72 to 28%.
Makes sense. I mean,
there's no draws because the best of 3 with overtime.
Yeah, so which kind of favors NIP as well if you look at it, because in the past they've had draws. Nowadays it's just NIP at the helm. They've had 6 wins, 1 tie in LATAM. The only draw that NIP have had, if you look at it, was against FaZe, and it was 6-6. They played on Kafe Dostoyevsky, which is like, yeah, it's fine if you tied FaZe. That's okay. There's no problem with all.
You tied the team that's in second. You beat everybody else.
That's fine. And in the end, even if they were tied for points, it would be fine. There's a 2-point difference. I want to correct myself. So 14, but that was not counting FaZe's victory in the last play day when they were playing against Immortals, because NIP were playing first in the 7-1 INTZ. NIP look always great in online play. They go to LAN and then they get rolled over, which is not the case a year ago.
Yeah, I was going to say NIP used to be one of the most consistent teams. They finished, what did they finish? They finished top 4 in the Six Invitational 2018. They finished top 8 at the Paris Major. They didn't make it.
They played DreamHack Valencia. They finished top 8 as well. They were the only team to beat now Secret at that event.
I don't know then, right?
Yep, they beat them.
That was Valencia 2-0. Last year.
Yeah.
They didn't compete in Milan. They didn't compete in Rio. They didn't compete in Atlantic City.
No.
They competed in Sao Paulo and finished second on home soil when they were known as Black Dragons at the time.
That was a long time ago.
That was a very long time ago. That was my first LAN.
Yeah.
It was all the way back in...
wearing a bow tie is so cute.
November 2017? Yeah.
That was like me 32 kilos ago. Holy crap.
Why do you reference like time and weight?
This is how I do it, because it's motivation.
Yeah, 20 kilos ago I was reading a book in my own room, and then I went out for dinner that night.
It is a way for motivation. I mean, that was a problem, going out for dinner that night.
That's always a problem, isn't it? Don't let friends go out for dinner.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. All right, we're just waiting for the teams to be ready to get this match started, and then we'll have our very final matchup here in Latin America. We have North American qualifiers coming up after this, so don't go anywhere. It'll be Emzo and Kix doing those.
Yes.
And then we will get to see who's going to get the spot. There's still that host country spot. Once again, we can only speculate as to who is going to get it or to how it will be given out. That's information that will be hopefully known some point over maybe this weekend, maybe early next week. We don't know the exact timeline.
Yeah. And we won't be doing, at least as far as we know right now, there won't be any group drawings.
There's no seeding match today, I believe. Yes. So that is something that will come later.
Seeding show.
Yes, seeding show, because it's not a match.
Yeah, there is no seeding match.
They don't fight. They don't fight. You take one representative from each of the 16 teams, you put them in a room with 16 pool queues, and the person who comes out alive gets to choose all of the groups. And then everybody has to find a new teammate because they're all dead.
Yeah, and then they work for you because, you know, you tell them about how you got those scars as well, right? And is that how it goes? All right. Dead joke in this spawn, I guess. The Capital will be the first one. Ban the Buck, eliminated.
Team 1 banning the Buck is interesting because you know that they like utilizing him on a lot of different maps.
Yes.
Border is not necessarily a map that they need to use him on. You can do with other operators in a pinch. You'll likely probably see a Zofia come out in that place.
That's
If you need to do any top-down destruction, you just bring a Sledge. Sledge is popular enough in Latin America as well. And keep in mind that you do see a lot of Buck on NIP too. And Buck is so strong on Border. Joining them will be an Echo ban from Team 1, and then NIP will be banning the Mira.
It's not really an odd ban. I mean, in the beginning, we used to gasp at the Buck being removed from play. Like,
Oh no.
how could it be? Oh, whoa, me. But no longer the case because we kind of understood that, hey, great operator in the right hands, in this case for Pino. You remove it, you don't have to deal with it. Good showing, good ban phase in general. The Capital is a very strong operator. I feel we always kind of repeat ourselves to death by saying how Capital, crossbow bolt, LMG, good, good, good. Keep using it. But it really is. And I know not everybody watches Pro League or Majors every single time. So we kind of have to put you back in correct form whenever it's necessary. The 6th pick of the Thermite, back to the Thermite. Mind games.
Yeah. You never see it coming. I mean, we saw the Finca off the Finca onto the Finca in the last matchup. And you know what? Who knows if that... Well, yeah, I was going to say, who knows if that wasn't a key part of why they won. So, who knows? Maybe that's the secret strategy for Team 1.
So, how will they run this one? There's no rotation hole to play in the office. We mentioned that as like a strategy where you get a bit more aggressive with your smoke. None of that. They're going to reinforce the walls here and open up hatches if necessary to drop down. Interesting setup. It will be held by CCTV, and you'll have a lockdown all the way with an ACOG. If you put the Maestro in this position, a lot of times you'll have a combo of the Jaeger and the Maestro playing in CCTV. They can lock down Fountain, and CCTV, of course, will put pressure on players. On the attacking side, they want to push Armory. You're going to be starved at reinforcement on the Armory wall because you're putting so much pressure on the office. You make sure that nobody plays you from there. But it works well because you want to put your Evil Eye right on the edge. Hold on to the balcony. That's why you bring a Zofia or a Sledge in this case. The Zofia would be definitely a better pick, much safer. One, oh, the run out, the P shooter hits. Reduct. First one fell, and that's your only hard breach.
Loading new mag.
Once again, these runouts that we see from Valkyrie, yeah, they're P shooters, and they don't really they don't really do a lot of damage at that range.
Really?
So back Psycho goes up top to monitors, and he'll sit alongside the Jaeger of Muzi. And yeah, you mentioned it, that's the hard breach. Probably the best target that you could get in a very vulnerable spot with nobody watching. Usually you'd have a couple bodies assembled over there. Possibly Claymore off that door, who really knows, but it was free for the taking from Psycho. And now Team 1, not exactly the start that they won after just putting Liquid away in the previous series. And that's the start that NIP needs in order to try and blunt the momentum that's been built up here. This is full control now as Rise is in sight. I'm very confused. He'll lose the fight though to Kamikaze. Expecting a follow-up push as Lucan takes out Psycho. Kamikaze goes onto his belly, shotgun in hand. Julio finds Falls. It's Lucan inside of sight. A troubling position as now he's a man on an island, quite literally, as he'll hop on out. He sees his teammate fall from Pino and NIP in a 4v1. They just need to ride this out. There's still a lot of time left. There's a minute and 15 seconds to see what Team 1 could put together. This is an interesting one.
Team 1 fell into the trap that NIP always set to their opponents. They make you feel that it's all safe and warm and cozy and come here. You'll have fun. And then they just rain down death on you. There's a very effective way of doing this just by starting off with the spawn kill, or not really a spawn kill at that point, the early frag on the run out. There you go. Moosey just eliminating Lucan. Very well done by NIP. But that early frag from the Valkyrie is very important. It really puts Team 1 on edge, because if you look at the way that Team 1 played Liquid, they're coming into this with confidence. But if you keep hammering at them, as NIP usually does, they're gonna be given any quarter, which is exactly the strategy that you look for.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of start you want for Ninjas in Pyjamas to put themselves up. And now we'll go down to Ventilation and Workshop for round number 2. Of course, the most commonly picked secondary site here. And then you likely have customs or bathrooms, even though the bathrooms, what is it? Bathrooms Tellers has become extremely popular as of late.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Still,
as many bombs
this is
as
all
they can.
reliable for site number 2. You're going to have plenty of denial. You've got C4s. You're likely going to have some play upstairs. Depending on the loadout that Musi is using, he might have a C4 on hand. That would be 3 C4s. It's quite a strong position to be in. Defensive one.
Bomb located by attackers.
I'm kind of surprised the Jackal comes out, because the play the previous round from Psycho was not off of like mid in the round with the rotations. It was off of a run out. Maybe a Lion would have been a better pick. But that's obviously just looking at the previous map previous round of individual.
I think you want the Jackals that you can go in quickly upstairs and you close out those, the roamers. You put Jackal up on the vent ledge just outside of the archives window. You've got smokes available for when you transition over to a site plant. Put them up there, grab a footprint or 2, have somebody push in through armory, delodge the various defenders who are playing wherever, and then have Jackal rotate down and then smoke off and go for the plant. I think that would likely be your utilization, but it really depends on what Skadinia is going to do. Not entirely sure. But right off the hop, Nip is positioned and looks like they might be going for runouts yet again. At least Musi playing over by the armory walls, double reinforced. He's got the barricade there that he can rip down in an instant and pop on out if he wants. We also got Pino inside of security, holding down the fort there. Throws toy around the open break room door. A lot of gunfire from Nip so far as Pino gets droned out and he knows that he's vulnerable. There are tools to get him out of CCTV/monitors if need be.
And the Zofia was 6-picked off to grab the Jackal. Pre-fire, yeah, not on the wall. Thank you. Those mosaics are very expensive. Thank you very much. As a Middle Easterner, I know that they're very expensive because we actually tried to have some of the home. That said, Fall's just playing right outside of the armory door, and Musi's up close to him. Smart for Musi to not push into his opponent. Make sure he waits for info, but no! Oh, he just walks right in front of the SMG-11. Julio, though, will find one and Reduct, penetrating the site all on his own. He's got Diffuser. He might just go for a plant on A if he gets given confirmation. Pino will find one. But NIP just have no clue that Reduct is here. He'll give away his position, unfortunately for him. Psycho will take him out of his misery, leaving Rise and Skadinia as the last 2 alive.
How quickly that just swung away from Team 1, who seemed to have complete control of the site and then lost it in the blink of an eye. There's no rotation here in Bathroom, but there's a Nitro Cell in Psycho's pocket if he does want to open up clear passage to possibly thwart the attackers. But I think for the time being, you're better to let them push on in. We've also got the secondary shotgun of Jackal, so Skadinia could open that up if he wants to. Psycho gets drawn down, and Diffuser is down inside the site. That's unfortunate for Reduct, who fell just around the corner. And getting that Diffuser is going to be a major problem for Team 1. They're probably just going to go for frags at this point, and I think that's the right call to make. They'll patrol the hatches as Psycho will need his cohort here in Pino to shoulder some of the weight. Psycho, of course, is an exceptionally talented player, but he can't do everything himself. Trying to draw out the Nomad as Skadinia takes some bullets. 20 seconds to go. You're going to have to push if you're Team 1 at this point. You don't really have the luxury of time any longer. As Pino now hears the flashbangs go. They've got full control of these hatches, and Team 1 will fall and drop to their death. It's going to be Rise in a 1v1, and Pino seals the deal, as Skadinia had been toppled by Psycho right before he himself fell, and it's a counterpunch here. That effectively puts Nip up 2-0.
It's a good start for Team 1 in the round to catch the Bandit off play. I was just focusing mostly on the armory wall, and it's an unfortunate loss. The follow-up, though, couldn't really be grabbed, as instantly NIP went for the aggressive play. They lost Julio, but he had gotten a single kill, and then there was more kills going NIP's way. They had the Jaeger that rotated back. It's just very impressive how NIP are able to figure out when the site is under pressure, and they just push immediately back down on it, either playing from the top floor and having angles for it, or descending directly through vaults or stairs, etc. Having these refrags, the follow-ups, are so important. And NIP make sure that they keep a beat on everybody from T1 throughout the whole round, and it's that Valkyrie. I mean, you can say all that you like, but Latin America relies on Valkyrie so much. And it's understandable. It literally gives you free vision over everything. Set in correct positions, those black eyes will just give you a ton of info for you to play off of. And there are few teams that are as effective at playing with that info as NIP is, internationally speaking, or in online play. It just seems like Team 1 have been very rigid.
Yeah, it's not the same fluid level of play. Oh my goodness, Muzi, you madman with the spawn peak, but there's nobody there. That could have gotten real messy for Team 1. It's going to be a customs defense, though, so the usual bathrooms tellers that we've seen from a lot of teams will be, will forego that, at least for the time being. Of course, with a typical customs defense, you're going to need a lot of bodies upstairs and monitors, and this offsite play from NIP is going to be paramount. If you lose control of the top floor, this site falls in a hurry. Executes can happen quite quickly, depending on the way that this gets played. For the time being, there's not that much pressure up top. The hatch is reinforced, so there's no easy drop or return to the site for Muzi. The opening inside a small office in Armory side will help, but they'll have to rotate all the way over there, which won't be easy for a Doc who's a 3 armor.
Pino playing solo here upstairs in the small desk, but he actually has his teammate Psycho holding off the hallway, which is always the way that NIP play. There's not one player on their own just doing something off somewhere in the side of the map. There's always someone in support. And in the previous round, it was the singular mistake of leaving the Bandit on his own for just a bit. It capitalized on very well by Team 1, but everything is being prepared. Players are falling back. There's somebody holding a Nitro cell that can follow up and make sure they can capitalize while the other two can walk back on the side and be successful in it. Muzi will drop one. That's a refrag from Reduct on the Kamikaze. Muzi with a peek again. He'll find a second. Testing on the back of the desk as a tiny bit of damage has been done to the Thermite. At least he's down to 50 HP. But both Lukid and Rise taken a slight bit of damage early on.
1 minute left, it's a 3v3. This doesn't bode well for Team 1, at least for the time being, as they've just managed to get control, and now they need to translate that to a pretty quick execute. The problem is that everybody from Team 1 is upstairs. You dropped that hatch to your peril. Reduct has now been downed as well. It sounded like it might have been an explosive. He'll need to get picked back up. Maybe it was Pino actually gunning him down. And there you go. Pino's just going to patrol that hatch from below, watch it like a hawk. Take some damage in the process, but yet again, you've now wasted half of the time you had left, 30 seconds, and you're all above. So where do you go? You have Nip sit under the hatches, and you'll have to enter the site somehow. That jail wall is open, testing Pino's reflexes. He's not able to land the shots. Keep in mind that Thermite is still so low that one bullet from most guns will take him out. He's holding that diffuser and will need to get into the site. Down goes Pino, though. And that's the F2 putting in good work. Down goes Lukid. Julio's there. Shoots him right through. A beautiful shot. And now it's a 1v2. And Rise isn't going to even be able to make it in towards Customs. Miles away from being able to get that diffuser. Nip look unstoppable so far, and they will complete a perfect rotation through 3 rounds.
Again, they played off of info. They knew exactly what was happening. You can shoot through the cardboard boxes inside of the stockroom, and it was well played. I mean, honestly, look at this. If you're Team 1, we're 3v3, or realistically, your only way of winning this round is to go for the Hail Mary and plant inside of the stockroom. If that doesn't work by the window, you're going to have a really rough time. But if you do get it planted, then the possibility to win really goes up. It's only through NIP maybe moving up to the top floor and then jumping out the armory balcony where they're maybe able to break you, but we didn't even get to that point. As Julio just rounded the corner and everything was set perfectly for him because you saw the wall was completely open. Some teams will reinforce part of it, the one that faces the long hallway, and put sometimes they'll have a mirror window there if she's available, but a lot of times you'll see an evil eye, which in this case is also banned because, well, actually he's not. The mirror is banned, but sometimes you'll see an evil eye in that position. Watch the hallway. None of that. Completely soft. Play the gunfight. Worked well for Nip. Team 1 just kind of faltered in the gunfights upstairs, and it was again due to Pino with his beautiful dock play. Excellent.
Pino really was a playmaker in that instance. He covered so many different angles. It was really high risk, high reward, but I mean, there wasn't really much of a risk there. He gets gunned down after he takes 2 souls, and it's Rise who finishes him off upstairs. But I think the greater good that he did was he was able to kill that clock so effectively. They just could not get him out of there. And I mean, a good Doc player, a good ACOG player, you're going to see that, especially in an operator like Doc who doesn't really have to worry about utility too much, the same way a Maestro would, the same way a Kaid might have to, the same way that an Echo would, etc. Anywho, Team 1 will need to somehow turn this one around, because even though this is Nip's map pick, Team 1 are not a terrible team on border, at least from what I can recall off the top of my head. I also said that, you know, LG was not a bad Villa team, when in all reality, they'd only ever played it one time ever in professional history, which was in USN a couple nights prior. So sometimes my brain, it fails me. That's unfortunate.
Sometimes I has the dumb.
Sometimes the dumb has me, let's be honest. But
Yeah, I know that.
I know that feel, yeah. Anywho, Team 1 will need to clear out monitors because yet again, Ninjas in Pyjamas make that their home. We've got a couple bodies playing over there, one of which will be Muzi. He's got Psycho there too. Deployable shield will cover an easy angle on in as a grenade sails out, but it sounds like it got caught by an ADS. Psycho gets collapsed upon by Skadinia. Actually, the nade did go off, but oh no, Skadinia with the team kill. And now Falls will try to find the Jaeger, who manages to somehow get away. Muzi with 1 HP. And doesn't get caught by Rayduct. Damn.
Yeah, that was way too close for comfort, to be honest. Julia will grab the drone and drop on down to play in Towers, and actually we'll move on closer to the bathroom in the hallway itself. NIP setting up for rushes from Team 1. It seems like the play is from the armory door. Pino has the perfect angle to deal with any of that, even though he lost his evil eye on the setup. You're always going to lose that, really.
This is the best that we've seen from Team 1 so far, but they still have quite a ways to go, and I have a feeling this will just end up being a slugfest here, as it's a 4v4 with under a minute left to go. Team 1 are holding so many angles over by the doors, and Pino, who was under fire previously, finds Skadinia. It was up to Rise to maybe flush him out. Oh, what a double from Falls! 2 for the price of 1-on-1 frag grenade, while Nip gets 2 kills. That'll leave Kamikaze in a 1v2. Very winnable for Team 1. 3 toxic canisters for Kamikaze. He'll watch the stairs, look the wrong way on those stairs, and you're in an awful lot of trouble. The problem is that Kamikaze will also have to shift over towards the plant. But there's an Evil Eye and a Valkyrie camera, so Kamikaze might get the call. And there it goes. Opportunity for you to throw out the toxic canister, but he doesn't know there's a body on the window, and Rayduct falls off at the perfect time. Team 1 grabbed their very first round.
It was very well done here in the rotation back to Armory. And it's all off of the early round attacks. Team 1 getting in the groove again, and then realizing and expecting NIP in those early game peaks and runouts. And at least you were able to trade off players. The Jaeger was very low in HP, but the double grenade really saved the day. There's no question about it. NIP were so close to winning the round, and I think they're going to go back to the dock specifically for that reason. And for anybody watching right now, should definitely be watching out for NIP either in Pro League, BR6, because they are in the first round of BR6, playing there against Black Dragons, I believe, or an international play if they do end up making it to the Raleigh Major. Their dock play is really, really good. And yeah, it just comes down to shooting people, but when you do it so effectively and every time you're peeking from different places, like you're playing game of whack-a-mole at the start of every single round. You don't know where it's going to come from. You just know it's coming, and it's looming over you if you're Team 1 or any other team that plays NIP in this situation. And you have to watch out for it. It wastes time, and it wastes precious mind space.
That frag grenade really was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it was.
And I don't know if the round goes that way without it.
No,
Because
I really don't.
Fall stayed alive till the very end. He was the one that was covering Reduct, playing on Reduct playing on the sandwich window. And
Attackers objective. Bomb
I mean, you still have a big lead for Nip, but I mean, just ask Liquid how leads work. They can, you know, disappear very, very quickly. We'll see if Nip have figured this one out as they go back to Armory for the third time. They won it once, they lost it once. And it's been a different strategy a lot of these times. There's a dock being brought out from Psycho this time around. I think given the fracas that occurred, it's a smart thing to do. There's an air jab at the top of East Stairs, and Julio's going to wait to see if somebody goes onto the roof the first 30 seconds or so. The answer is no.
Setting C4.
There you go. He'll grab Rise, and that's a good opening kill. Down goes the Nomad, and Nip in a 5v4 off of information that is being relayed. Nip has been so good at giving the right calls so far. They just look completely at home and at ease.
I just wish we got to see NIP play like this on LAN, to be honest. But it's not a really the usual sighting of NIP. However, so far in online play in Latin America, they've been on point and exploiting every bit of information, keeping you on your toes. That's what NIP are really good at. Julia will drop down to the workshop and play from the pre-opened holes. This Nitro Cell has already been expended. It's kind of gone here. Lukid will lose possibly his second Twitch drone. He'll have to be very careful. Look at this. How do you deal with this? What do you do against this? Like, honestly,
Ray.
you don't even know if there is an angle over in there. Like, okay, this is what you have to deal with.
This is absolutely greasy. And they're opening up even greater lines of sight now, too. Psycho can see all the way out, and it's a plant going down from Reduct. I don't know if that information is known, but, I mean, you get it off. Team 1 are getting away with murder on that one. And, well, they'll lose Skadenia, and then they lose Falls. So up to Reduct and Lucan. He's going to get shot from different angles. Reduct absorbing a lot of damage, and he's down for the count. It's Lucan in a 1v4. But he's outside on the Vents Customs, I guess, plateau. He's in good position. There's drones in there to give marks, and he can just walk right out. You're going to have to try to pressure him from multiple angles here. Smoke him out so you can't see that line of sight. Now Lucan has to rotate around, and he'll get shot from the sandwich window. Creeping on up, breathing it in, but there's Julio, and Nip will make the recovery that's needed. It was a gutsy move from Team 1 to walk in and plant right under the nose of Ninjas in Pyjamas. But they smelled them, and they got them.
They smell blood in the water.
They did. And they bounced back perfectly. Not a single person from Nip died. It was a 4v4 that became a 4v0. And now Nip are in a very good position here on a map that isn't really defender or attacker favored the way that a lot of other maps are.
Yeah, I mean, Border is
It's pretty even.
It is one of the most balance-sided maps ever. Now, again, we don't want to start the same argument of, yeah, but you should be looking at the map in like a 50-50 for each site or for each side, or should it be like held in mind as a best-of-3 series where, you know, one map may be just beneficial for the other, because there's, of course, the bias of one team being better on one map compared to another team, and maybe today they are, maybe they're not. All of that. But Psycho playing the Kapkan is definitely the intriguing bit. And for people that don't really watch NIP playing Border that often, they actually run the Kapkan more often than you think. Usually at least one per game when they're playing this map.
There's a couple teams that have Kapkan strategies that they, you know, have up their sleeve and they pull out when they need to. And in this instance, the Kapkan can work at slowing down a team that isn't as well coordinated. So far, Team 1's coordination has trailed that of Ninjas in Pyjamas. So you might as well try and, you know, exploit that. Why not?
5 seconds remaining.
It's a Nitro Cell as well.
Yeah, he is a Nitro Cell as well. Kapkan doesn't have the worst kit. His gun isn't the greatest. It can be a bit of a pea shooter at long range as well, but it's got some clean sights on it. As of the stats that were posted by the developers, the designer's notes, or whatever you want to call them, Kapkan actually has the highest win rate of all the Russian operators. That isn't saying much, though, because most of their win rates are
Glaz, Tachanka, and let's be honest, the only people that play Tachanka are influenced by Bikini.
That's not true. The Russian Badger loves his Tachanka as well. Content creators inspiring that level of content.
Yes.
Cyclops actually had a Tachanka strategy on Kafe today, putting Tachanka inside of the cigar closet, the humidor, whatever you want to call it. So, down goes Pino. That's troubling. You find an early pick for Team 1, 45 seconds into the round.
Yeah, Luca now watching in from Fountain. Yeah, sure, you lose the Jaeger here, but most of these angles are being held by NIP very effectively. Psycho will actually fall off the main stairs. And Nitrocell planted on... Okay. He's not going to connect with anyone anytime soon. Muzi will find Falls and takes down the sledge before he can do much. And the Nomad eliminated, very well done by Psycho, as it turns around into the main stairs, detonates the Nitrocell, and walks away unscathed. Muzi with another on a reduct, leaving Lukid and Skadinia, the last two alive, and it's just Team 1 are unable to find any opening.
I don't even know if Muzi actually took damage with that. It looks like he's at the same HP, even though you saw his screen shake for a second there. He's fragging well on such limited health. You've still got a set of smokes in play, so there is a possibility to shroud some of the site in that cover of smoke, and there wasn't much of Muzi left there for Skadini to find. It's a 3v2 that still favors Nip. Both bodies from Team 1 are up top. That's not strange. We saw that before. Their problem is going against this hatch that's up top. Dropping through hatches, you are the most exposed you will find. A beautiful pre-fire from Lukid onto Kamikaze, as now Lukid will continue to do some soft destruction. He's up top. Psycho's nestled inside of the site. He's getting pinged, and Lukid's going to open that up. As Psycho, you only have one option. That's to get the hell out of there. Right into Skadinia's waiting arms, and it's all on Julio. The man is a clutch master. He sits at the bottom of the stairs, just awaiting somebody to push him. As both Lukid and Skadinia are watching these openings that have been created, Skadinia will rotate out, and Lukid finds the kill. It's a 4-2 scoreline for the first half, favoring Nip, and the teams will now switch sides, allowing Team 1 to try their hand at defense.
Team 1 had a lot of time in that round to do whatever they'd like to maybe possibly recover it, and indeed, they were very effective at it, using the Jackal pings and the breaching charges to their advantage. We've been talking about breaching charges quite a bit over the past few weeks here in competitive play, and they're just great to have. You never know when you just need a bit of extra soft destruction outside of dedicated operators. And indeed, it's very well played, realizing that you have such utility to exploit. But here we are, NIP now on the attacking side, and Team 1 are choosing a regular lineup here as they go for Armory Archives. And we'll go for Jaeger, Bandit, Mute, Smoke, and the Maestro. I'm curious of how Team 1 will set up in this. Is it going to be similar to how NIP and Liquid, for example, play their defense upstairs with more soft walls, or would it be a 50-50 reinforcement on the wall where you can still have an Evil Eye but also the Bandit do work from behind? It really does depend, but I like the lineup from NIP. They bring the anti-roam between Julio and Pino. That combo is going to be massive for NIP if it works out well between the Dokkaebi and the Jackal.
And Julio has been playing an awful lot of Dokkaebi recently as well, and it's quite effective with the way that Nip plays. You know, you have Kamikaze and Psycho to go off and do whatever they want. Kamikaze is going to frag on any operator that you put him on. In this case, Hard Breach, perfect opportunity for him to do well, being the support player that you need. And so far, Nip have been excellent when it comes to communication. They've been able to get the calls to each other. Sometimes they've just been put in unwinnable situations. That last round was a perfect example, but you know, it's definitely something that's been working for them so far. Lots of fragging potential. You got a lot of good guns on the board too, with the C70 being the big one for Pino. That gun is just, it's dumb good, as the kids would say these days. So this is quite the angle here from Skadinia. Exactly something that you want to, I guess, try and attack. Let's say IQ and Muzi, who might be the one who goes for it, and he's going to army crawl into the windows. I think that's the right play to move. That's
a great cross there from Muzi, realizing the potential situation he'll be in. A lot of players just kind of gun it and hope for the best, but it takes you an extra second to do it. You'll be happier for that. Maestro still holding on to that angle, but we won't be finding anyone anytime soon. Muzi's actually dropped on the floor. Should be recovered by his teammates, and that's off a play by the main stairs. You see fire in from above in the armory, trying to maybe land a single pellet into the IQ, but Falls has fallen back. And actually, I'm not sure right now if it's a play from the stairs or if it just the IQ ran into a shotgun waiting for her.
I'm not entirely sure either. But Muzi's back up. I don't know if Falls is waiting for a rappel or a possible jump out. That's That's a tough one if you're a smoke to go for that jump out. That's gambling so much. I think he was waiting for an upside down rappel. He absorbs a bit of damage. He tosses out a canister, and it's going to be Psycho breathing in all those fumes. Burning out the ADS and leave the explosive blast now. You can open up that soft wall, none of which is reinforced at all. You know, there's another ADS there, and it's gone. You need to provoke somebody, and oh, Psycho, no! He didn't think he was getting hit by it, as it looked like it fell just short. But the smoke propagation is his undoing, and Psycho's down for the count. There go the phone calls. Pino finds Skadenia. He was felled earlier on, waiting for somebody to go down below. And there goes the last toxic canister from Falls. He can't control the SMG recoil through the floor, and there's a minute left, but things are heating up. Julio doesn't have any logic bombs left, but he does have smoke grenades if he needs them. He's going to play around this deployable shield. I don't know if he knew it was there. The C75 doesn't have the greatest iron sights, but still make things work. There's a run out from Rayduct. There wasn't too much left from Muzi to deal with, and well, what little is left is now gone. 30 seconds, and Julio still on the roam clear down below. Team 1 sitting pretty inside of the site, even though a number of them are quite beaten up. More damage goes on to Falls, and Julio is waiting down for Rayduct. Doesn't see him. The Jaeger at full HP will now run back to the site. Pino takes out Falls, and man, they're trading back and forth. But a beautiful play from Lukin will leave Kamikaze in a 1v2. He can push on up.
10 seconds left.
He's going to need to attempt the plant, and this is really rough. He doesn't know where anybody is, and if you're Team 1, you just sit and wait. Or take the fight at the last second. Well played by Team 1. Excellent patience. They closed the gap by taking their very first defensive round.
Every time they felt that Thermite get closer, they peeled back and back and back from the desk down to the half metal wall and then onto the metal staircase. There were 2 guns against 1, and there's no way you can really win it out. In that case, they weren't even lining up. Well played. Good coordination. 4-3 here. Still advantage for NIP, but it's all focus on Team 1 for this matchup here. They're the ones that are on the back foot, and they're the underdogs. They're the ones that need to prove themselves against the experienced players of NIP to try to qualify to Raleigh. And again, we'll remind you of the stakes at hand here. You win this game, a best of 3, you go to the major. Simple as that. You guarantee some cash, you guarantee a ton of exposure, and you guarantee at least play experience for you and your team. Something that Team 1 have kind of been desperately looking for as they went to the Vegas Minor and to Valencia. Didn't perform super well, but in the games that they did play, they had some very impressive ways of interpreting certain sides of play. So I'm very curious as how they'll be able to take down NIP so far, because that previous round was very well executed. And NIP were kind of falling into the same traps that they had set up for their opponents only a few rounds ago.
It'd be a great experience for Team 1 too, when you really consider the fact, like as you said, that they're a newer team, right? They did decently well at the Allied eSports Vegas Minor, but
and at DreamHack Valencia,
they did terrible at DreamHack Valencia.
Yeah. They had good rounds. Like the way they executed on certain rounds was very good, but
less
right.
Less.
I was saying
it's fine. You know, I said bless you to you and say bless you to you. It's fine.
So they had some impressive rounds, but the results definitely were not up. Came back to Pro League and then they played well again, but you're looking for that offline play, as right now Team 1 have not been playing in BR6. They're not qualified for it.
I thought they were qualified for it, but they just don't play till the next season.
Well, now this season until the end, which is basically an entire year.
Right. They
can't play in it, so they won't be starting up until
because I think Pain is out, and I think, or Red Devils is out, and I think they're in. I don't know. It's tough to keep up with.
They were playing them a couple of days ago. But yeah, I think the final bouts of the relegations are this Sunday.
Yeah. Rayduct waits out the Jackal pings down below in customs. It's Reduct now, but he gets felled by Psycho, and the Jackal does all the work himself. The hatch blows up above him, and well, Rayduct can't go anywhere. Now Psycho will continue to drone himself in. You don't necessarily want to be droning yourself in. That's not the position to be. Psycho's got full control down below with this PDW. High rate of fire, high magazine SMG that he carries in his hands. Oh, they're going to catch the Jaeger out, and they might be able to get on him, but oh no, he misses, goes on in, and there you have it. But you see how much damage that carbine does. Psycho will walk away with 24 HP, but 2 kills to start things off. That's going to put his team in excellent position. Nip just need to carry this through, and well, Rise and Kamikaze each exchanging words with one another. 2 kills from Team 1 will equalize very fast order as Kamikaze and Julio are off the board.
It's good play by the Valkyrie, and you'll see the Jackal that it's still low on HP for NIP. He's taking a lot of damage in earlier engagement. Psycho scanning around, but he kind of needs his teammate to support him, and the Valkyrie play that is such a huge staple for Latin America. Doing work, but as I say that, she'll be felt. Nomad doing the work. It's a 3v2 with low HP again on the Jackal, and Pino is sitting up right outside of the site. Oh, a good play here for the Maestro to take down Muzi, eliminating the Jackal. A tiny bit of damage done to the smoke. But Pino might have an advantage here coming in from behind. The hatch has been opened up from above. Oh, he'll drop right into their welcoming hands. Psycho will find 1 kill. Scadinha is spotted right next. Pino, you know he dropped in. The Maestro has no clue where his opponent is. He might just spray through the wall, but he's holding off the opposite angle. It's a 1v1, and there's 15 seconds left.
15 seconds to go.
Holding off the same angle as Pino is. He'll go for the gunfight. They're right against the wall. Scadinha
10 seconds remaining.
finds the body shot. Psycho away, and Team 1 tied up for.
I understand the hesitation and the patience there, but you gotta think he has to just take that fight.
Oh, yeah.
You can't sit there and toy around with the idea of pushing in. You just gotta go for it. You gotta go for broke. And yeah, it's unfortunate timing that he doesn't push on in. I saw Psycho start to move to try and maybe give some information if he could see where the Maestro was, but the Maestro wasn't giving him anything. Scadinha played that perfectly, and it's hard as an attacker to really do all that much when you don't have any intel. You go on the drone, maybe you didn't have a drone left, but you go on the drone, you make noise inside of the bathroom, and you give yourself away. And that's obviously not what he wanted. So, perfect so far on defense for Team 1, as they will look to do exactly what Nip did, aka complete the cycle. They'll be at customs defense for the second time today. Down below.
So the big question is, NIP, are they going to recover? This site is usually an easier one to attack. A lot of times players on the defense will play too hard on the top floor, lose a lot of manpower, unable to recover it back down on the site, and then the attackers kind of capitalize on that. It's the entire play from NIP. They can run the Jackal effectively. It would work out well. I like that they ran away from the Dokkaebi, at least went away off of it. It didn't really help them that much. And it's good to realize that when something's not working, might as well change it.
Yeah. So small changes, right?
Mm-hmm. They make a big effect.
Customs will be interesting to watch because, as I've said, once you get control of monitors, you can push on in very quickly after that and collapse on in on the site. As long as you're not putting yourself in a position where you have to drop through those hatches, because you always drop to your peril. It's just the way it works. It's a vulnerable place to be. Your drop is telegraphed. You don't have the advantage of perspective at all. You're essentially doomed. But Reduct runs out and gets 2 big kills before he gets shut down. But that's such a big gamble, and you get under the skin of your opponents, and you buy your team an awful lot of an advantage. But Nip immediately moved that back in their direction with 2 kills.
Great play here on the run out. Making it a 3v3, I mean, this is LATAM again. So 4 kills in the first minute of the game is not really out of the ordinary. Muzi will find a kill on Scadinha. And just reduce the amount of manpower left for Team 1, and this is when usually things spiral out of control for the defense. Even though you started up well. Muzi, realizing that CCTV needs to be the play, is going to be focusing down on it. Psycho droning into the workshop, making sure nobody's in there. NIP might be planning for an assault on the site if they can keep the Zofia and Armory uncontested. But look at it, we'll find Muzi. There goes the Zofia. What can you do now? It's such a difficult position to be in, because now vaulting in even to the stockroom to plant is difficult. There's not much that you can do with it. And 2v2, you're going to be relying on pure firepower. Julio taking damage from above. And this might not be the play. We'll have to go to B site. The hatch should be reinforced. Psycho gets a kill on Falls, and that's the opening. No, the hatch is open. Lucan has 3 more goo mines. Hasn't been able to do much with them so far.
There's a lot of places here that they can plant, though, that won't be in the line of sight of Lukid, and he's going to need to rotate at some point to possibly try to cover this. You got a minute, realistically, to try and find him. The problem is that the Jackal won't be that effective unless he gets the footprints through the floor or he moves up top. I guess he just decides to fight him dead on, and he'll lose, as Lukid doesn't give up anything in that endeavor. Psycho is down, and it's a 1v1 now as Julio goes for the plant. Lukid can clearly hear it as there's marks inside of the site. That'll be from the Evil Eye cam. This is going to be very difficult. You know exactly where he is, and Lukid with perfect control from above. Man, oh man, what a stead from him. 5-4 and the first lead of the game for Team 1.
Why did you not plant?
I mean, he did. He tried to plant.
He tried to,
he
but
kept getting spam marked.
by the time he was... This is when they had the 2v1 advantage. You had it. And now it's gone. Team 1 closer to victory possibly on this map. Again, 5, not enough. You need 7. Maybe taking it to overtime. Wouldn't be surprised if we do go to it, because NIP started up so well, as did Team Liquid.
Yeah.
And then Team 1 just kind of...
They fell off.
Defenders,
They
protect
come
your
back.
bombs.
They come back. They
Nip looked so good on defense, and now it's Team 1 with the perfect rotation to go to go back up to Armory for us.
Yeah. So, well, it'll be the play. Maestro setting up with double reinforcements, so Team 1 are going to be playing more securely inside of the Armory. This is your usual strategy, internationally speaking, as well. NIP bringing the Nomad, bringing the Jackal, bringing that Thermite as well to combo. The Thatcher is in play, but there won't be any bandit batteries or any Clyde to worry about. So, all good for the Ninjas. But I don't know if that Capital ban is working out too well for
Attackers
them.
are moving out to
If they had the
locate a
Capital, maybe things would have been a bit different.
staging area.
But they went for that ban. It doesn't end up doing much. In other ways, Team 1 were kind of able to do some sort of work without that also important operator currently in the metagame. Kamikaze playing the Thermite yet again. Reduct taking a bit of damage early on, just through a wall as he rotates back into the office. He's going to stay there. There's no reason to go out for it. It's just Team 1 now. What's their focus? Are they going to roam in from below, or will they do it later in the round? Will they focus more on CCTV? So far, they have a lot of utility set up in CCTV.
And there really hasn't been all that much that's been happening here for Nip on attack. They've had a couple rounds where they've looked good, they've been in control, and then they've lost it. And it's been very clutch final minute plays from Team 1 that have ended up carrying the round over into the win column for them. Just like with Nip, Team 1's focus is on monitors for the time being. That's a tough shot to make for Lukid, and he'll lose it. Pino doesn't have a single point of damage missing, or single point of HP missing. Nip are very wary of the run out here, and Rise is spotted as he appeared to go for a run out. Not exactly what they want. Falls does run out, gets Kamikaze, but then gets immediately traded out as Julio's got the skylight above, sitting there after 90 seconds to perfectly catch Team 1, who appear to be getting a little too cocky and a little too comfortable, taking lots of gambles that just don't pay off at all. 4v2 for Ninjas in Pyjamas with just over a minute to go. You've still got Denial left for Team 1. It looks like it's going to be an Armory take, at least for the time being. Psycho's down below, and he'll grab the Maestro's footprints, and that's going to put some pressure on Skadinia to continue to move. He just barely evades the clutches of Psycho down below. He can play back through this opening with the soft destruction of the ITA shotgun from Jackal, and comes in handy in a pinch. He's situated just by bunker right now.
So to see the Jackal in that position, of course, with the Buck not being available, you kind of have to run it some way. So the Zofia be in charge of it. Now you lose out the Nomad. Have to dive into the site as Reduct is holding on to the CCTV window from the break room. He can swing out pretty hard against the attackers here. Oh no, they're so close to him. Psycho taken away. Unfortunate with a Nitro cell thrown out. Will not connect. It turns into a 2 versus 2. Valkyrie's on the floor, and if Pino can find the kill here,
15 seconds to go.
definitely be exactly what's needed for the Ninjas. Though 50 seconds left.
10 seconds to
Julio
go.
will come in and take down Reduct. You need to plant it. Scadinha is holding the singular angle. They go for the quick peek, and he finds the head. 2 for Scadinha. NIP falter. And Team 1 secure yet another round. 1 away from ending map 1.
The Alda is such a strong gun in those circumstances, and an inability to put more pressure on the Maestro was the biggest issue there. You were trying to hunt him from below. You had the soft destruction. You could have kept shooting away and taking that up, but Psycho decided to move up and pressure him instead. And it unfortunately didn't end up being the right call when you really look at it. Team 1 just seemingly grab momentum and do not relinquish it. Since round 4, over the last 7 rounds, it's 6 rounds in favor of Team 1 and 1 for NIP. That is quite the run that we have seen. And barring the one defense of Armory, where Team 1 planted the diffuser with 4 bodies still alive and then choked it, it's been great strides for Team 1, and now find themselves on match point on NIP's map. Keep in mind, there are no draws, so there's overtime if NIP wants to bring this back. It's the only way that they can win it. So the only victory conditions for NIP involve playing at minimum 4 more rounds. That's tough.
Yep, 4 to 5 is really the play here, but yeah, it's just an uphill battle. You looked at the first game, you said, okay, you know what, Liquid definitely have an advantage. It should be able to beat Team 1. No, Team 1 walk all over them in a 2-0 victory. Now you head in, NIP starts so strong, and then Team 1, the instant they switch to the defense, they just rack up round after round after round, and NIP have just been faltering so badly. We've yet to find a way to break Team 1. That very flexible play from Team 1 is working out very well for them. NIP, they pulled the roam clear, they pulled out whatever is possible, and now they're gonna go back to the Ash, rely on pure fragging power alongside the Zofia. Let's do away with all those tricky little plays with the Dokkaebi. Now let's play the Nomad and the Jackal and put in Ash and a Zofia with a Thermite and hope that the Thermite doesn't die. Of course, it means that there's no EMPs available, but
Right.
you have to change something at this point.
Yeah, nothing has worked at all for NIP on attack. That one last round definitely seemed like it was going in their favor. A successful entry from NIP, stalled out in the mid-round, and then the execute fell apart completely in the final seconds of the round when 2 members of NIP pushed through a singular doorway and got mowed down by the Alda. Julio just testing his own reflexes here, as we'd seen previously in the last matchup. As he's got the Jackal pings still going out, and Psycho finds Scadinha, and once again, NIP have an opening lead. Down goes the Bandit. And Scadinha, not just a great operator and Bandit with good utility, but also the fact that he has been absolutely heroic so far through this matchup.
So again, continuing the play on the Ash and droning into the office. Julio's on the reverse repel to make sure that he can cleave open the site if required. The play with a soft rotation hole here might not be the one for Team 1. Have to take control of that top floor before you dive on down to bathroom tellers, and it's Team 1 that want to go the whole tour de border, let's say.
Changing mags!
NIP taking their time here, as we tend to find teams do when you're down the way they are. What a shot from Psycho. He makes these look easy. Down goes Reduct. That's the smoke off the board, and the one member from Team 1 that was situated by the back of Workshop. Look at this.
Oh my.
Smoke going down, and Falls just goes in. He'll find one. There's another body pushing on in. Just waiting so patiently on a bathroom defense. Psycho grabs 2 more. He's got 3 kills so far on this round, and Falls will be the next intended target. He's prone by the window, and I don't know if he hears that there's bodies above him. There goes an explosive, and he gets jumped on as he drops and say goodbye to Falls. It was a much-needed victory for NIP to keep in this. Well, if they had lost, that would have been the map, and then we would have gone to Kafe next. There's still some life left in NIP. We'll go to our very final round before overtime, if it's even needed.
It's all in the hands of Team 1. If they go up 1-0, Kafe Dostoyevsky will be kind of up in the air. NIP have played it. They played it against FaZe Clan.
They tied.
And it was a tie. That was the third play day here in Pro League.
It was odd that it was a bathroom teller's defense, by the way, when Workshop was still open.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's the tour, the border.
Oui.
Border. You have to say like French Canadian. Border. Though it's fantastic.
Attackers
Last
need
time
to
these two
locate
teams
and
played
defuse
against one
bomb.
another, that was in June 29th. And
Okay.
it was a clubhouse.
Okay.
NIP 174. Interesting numbers. But
Attackers
last
have
time
discovered the location of a bomb.
Team 1 played Kafe Dostoyevsky, they played against FaZe. Same as NIP. 7-5 win for FaZe, but it was a close game regardless. The defensive side from 1 was so strong in that map. So you're kind of fearing that as well. If you look at all of this, defensive side, attacking side, both are pretty effective for Team 1. It really depends on the map. But then you look at how they lost 7-1 to Black Dragons in Play Day 6, and you're like, how does... Where's the logic? So yeah, it's understandable.
Attackers objective
That's why it's so difficult to predict Latin American games, is it? So, Rez playing the Kaiden this time with the AUG. Again, an odd pick, as most people nowadays are running the TCSG 12. Pocket. Nitro. What? How did that even hit? Pino gets eliminated off the Nitro. Goodbye, Jackal, and this should ruin the thermite charge. Oh, okay. Kamikaze hears it. Batteries will be picked up. Second one still in the hands, and this should zap it. Yep. No, he pulls away. Kamikaze is just so good at this juggling. He'll open it up, and no, zapped away by the bandit. Excellent from Reduct. You know, Team 1, that's the way to start a round.
That might be the nail in the coffin here for NIP, as your smokes are gone. And NIP have been using their smokes when they've had somebody be alive to do that. I think Psycho moving on to Ash was indeed the play. Try to burn any ADSs that might be there. As now the drone will go in, and, well, you can walk in and plant, realistically. Unless there's an Evil Eye cam, there's not going to be any other intel there that you'll have access to. There's no Valkyrie on the board or anything like that, or, well, you can't walk in plant. It's not actually an armory site. I was thinking it was Armory for some reason.
No, they went back to the site that you were expecting last round.
Workshop,
I know.
right.
It threw you off.
I was looking at it and I was like, why? It was like this. I was like, they're all upstairs, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I think it's Workshop, but why are? Okay, well that makes a lot of sense.
Rise, he finds it, drops on down. Psycho will get Skadinia though. But it's the Maestro eliminated. Rav HP the Clyde. Lose Nomad, you lose Jackal. Late round rotation should definitely available for Team 1 with a Nitro still left on Rise.
Hello, dev team. The charm is clipping through the gun stock. Please fix that. Thank you. Sincerely,
Unplayable, literally.
C4 misses, and Psycho guns Rise down. He's got both kills for his team so far. You're going to have to get some utility work now going for the rest of NIP, as you got a minute to play with. Time to continue to bring out that utility, or time that you can continue to bring out that utility, and, well, Psycho knows there's a body there, and he's going to get... Oh, no! Luke Kid, who turns around, and a great reflex to just absolutely destroy Psycho. That stings.
Psycho, unfortunately, is dropping off here, but Julio will find Reduct, as Reduct has already taken away Kamikaze. Julio with another one. It turns it into a 1v1. It's all up to Julio, the OG, to save the day.
Against Falls here, if he has any toxic canisters, this could work in his favor, but Julio looks in the wrong way, and it doesn't matter if Psycho reconnects at all. It's Falls to shut the door, as so many teams have done so far today. That's good 1/3, with Team 1 stealing NIP's map away from them, and a high-octane thrill ride that was.
Man, I didn't know Zeronic was...
Zeronic's got a little bit more hair than that.
Does he?
Yeah, Zeronic's
Not for long.
hair. He's still losing his hair.
No, he's not, but at some point.
Male pattern baldness
last time
is not a joke, Milos.
No, I know. Oh my god. The first time I saw it, like, thin out a bit of hair, I'm like, no, please, no. And he asked me quite a bit about his own hair to make sure that it's all fine and dandy.
I have like a swirl that's like actually right where like this sits, so it flattens the hair. And it
whenever
like
we put this on, he's always like, "Oh, is it okay? Is it okay?" And I completely understand.
It looks like I'm going bald, but it's not. It's just a crown. Like I have a weird crown like on the top of my head. I don't get it. But anyway,
you're a very handsome man, Parker.
So are you. Thank you. Well, that's map 1 in the books. And Team 1 pulling out a stunning upset, I would say, over Ninjas in Pyjamas. The community was firmly behind the Ninjas. And on their own map, they couldn't get it done. This is exactly what just happened in the Liquid Team 1 matchup. So we have Kafe Dostoevsky next. It's not a bad map for NIP, but it's a must-win for them. They'll have to pull off the reverse sweep if they want to go to Raleigh. We're going to throw to a break, though, and then we'll see you for map number 2.
Defender has left the designated station. The attacker's bombed it. 10 seconds left. Defender has left the designated staging area. Defender is approaching a kill zone. Attacker dropped the diffuser.
Setting C4.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser. Attack. Seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Attackers drop. Attackers drop the bomb diffuser. Defender is approaching the kill zone. Attackers drop the diffuser. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. Seconds. Drop the bomb diffuser. 5 seconds left. Attackers. Attackers bomb diffuser has 15 seconds to go.
Nitro deployed. Nitro detonated.
Attackers recover the bomb diffuser.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Latin America Raleigh Major Qualifiers. The Six Major Raleigh, North Carolina. My name is Untitled. This is Milos, the medic, and we might be in our very final map to crown Team 1, the team to represent Latin America through the qualifier, or are we about to see a reverse sweep coming in from NIP?
NIP really have all the pressure on them in this one. The first map was so dominant in the start for NIP on border. Swinging back came Team 1, and they brought it home. It was a close game, 7-5. You were not really expecting Team 1 to upset as they did with Liquid. Liquid were playing poorly comparatively to NIP, and then NIP just kind of fell off the face of the map somehow. It's so odd to look back to it because everything pointed, all the numbers, they all pointed towards NIP sweep 2-0.
I feel like we see this a lot, though. We have a team that plays a match or two and comes in piping hot from the lower bracket, and that appears to be what's happening now. Team 1 are warmed up. They just triumphed over Team Liquid. They have a lot of momentum. They have a lot of energy, and they're hot. And right now, being red hot, well, it's going very well for them.
Team 1, so hot right now.
So we'll start off with NIP banning Thatcher. Not a surprise. A Thermite ban comes out next. That's interesting. A lot of times we'll see a Hibana ban here, maybe even Maverick, but no, in this case, it's going to be the Thermite.
Yeah, it really depends on the op for the region, and this being Latin America, Thermite just kind of makes a bit of sense, but either the Thermite or the Hibana makes sense on this map, and you'll see as we go through it. If you haven't watched Kafe competitive play yet, trust me, it's a banger of a game. And looking at things, Latin America, they're also going to ban Thatcher. It's been also a staple through Season 10, in Pro League, and even here in the qualifiers. I wonder how this is going to go through in international play, actually. This is why I love these big major events where you have teams from all over the world participating, because you get to see these different metagames, melding together at the same time, and you're playing against one another or learning from an opponent how they played against some other teams from different regions that we're in. We still are yet to decide on who makes it out and represents Latin America in LATAM's final spot. They'll have 3 teams playing at the Major in Raleigh. The Mortals, their FaZe Clan, that are awaiting a potential winner of this game.
Yeah. It's strange to me that there's only going to be 3 Latin America teams there.
Well, 5 North American teams. It's 4 plus the host country invite.
5 NA, 5. Yeah. Technically, could the host country invite not go to another team? Like, let's say they were just like, you know what?
No, it has to be a North American team.
Oh.
So North America gets the 5.
Yeah, like, what if they're like, you know who we really like? Let's bring
5 seconds to insertion.
Sisu. Could they do that? I don't know.
Attacker's objective is to locate
Anyway.
a bomb.
I mean, that's what they did in year 1 for Invitational. And I remember Siska saying like, oh yeah, but they're so consistent. They're consistent at losing. And you can ask. You can ask. It's funny times.
Musi 11 hit that castle barricade, and it looks like it might only be hit once, but I imagine most teams are going to be aware of that. Surprised they're not shooting out the speakers here on Kafe, as NIP's first defense is going to be up top on Cocktail.
It's great music.
Very lovely music. Very, very lovely music.
You wake up sometimes on Sunday morning. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow.
I just go and I relax in a custom game with an unlimited time and just sit and listen to that music.
No, I just put on 2 hours of Tchaikovsky and I end up cleaning my apartment like a responsible human being. I know we have like these differences. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. A couple of years ago, that wasn't the play. But hopefully it spreads to Rob at some point. Now, Reduct holding on from the skylight. Yeah, I know. I know. We pray.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's like the 7 wonders of the world. Reduct with a self-flash and a second one popping right into Lukid as Team 1 just going in for the dive, and they are completely flashed away when Kilfer falls, but Julio on the refrag with 2 of his own. Wise with 1 on a Julio, finally take him away, and Scadinho will find Pino, but Reduct is so low on HP. Losing Psycho, the last 2 alive. Near jabs have already been preset, all of them. Reduct, diffusers on the floor. There's tags of The defenders coming in to the site, but you're not playing together. Muzi, doesn't matter. He finds Rise, sprays in the back, and actually drops Reduct, who's now on the floor. You don't know if your opponent is down or not. And there's the finisher. Last alive is on the rappel. You'll have to dive out for it. Psycho finds it. And also gets thrown away to the air jab. That is such a cookie cutter retake.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Very well done. That shot from Muzi was a thing of beauty. As a horrifying face that Hibana was making is dead. That's spooky. I really do have to commend T1 for that read. They just went in like gangbusters. They drop, they start firing on in, they kept pushing, and then what ends up happening is they end up with complete control of the site. But I mean, Reduct is so low on HP that it doesn't really matter. You know, he stubs his toe, he's going to be downed.
You know what the big question is for me?
What is the big question for you?
Is this because of the thermite ban? Team 1 banned that thermite. Sorry.
Attackers
Can you
need to
not do
locate
that?
and defuse bombs.
This is a professional broadcast.
Just because he's...
Knock it off. Just gracious.
Lordy Lord. But I really have to wonder what was the catalyst behind Team 1's drop. You usually drone things out around the site. See, okay, well, this is the disposition. There might be thin on the site. Let's go for the play. And in that case, I believe that was really what prompted Team 1's response. Okay, we see how NIP are kind of spread. They're a bit too far from the site. Let's go for a drop. We'll have advantage in numbers. Even if we lose 1 or 2 players on Ingress, we should be able to clear out the players through there, because once you are on that bar site, clearing out people coming in from white or red stairs is just pretty easy. There's one angle that you have to watch for. You might lose the gunfight, but more often than not, you're not. It just came down to a beautiful retake from NIP. So I think just NIP outplayed Team 1.
Yeah.
No question about it. So now the play is downstairs in kitchen for the Ninjas. Well, they run out with this one. Pino coming down with Legion, and they'll be playing in the white stairs. Got a very powerful position to keep in your hands.
It's the silhouette of the sledge, it looks like.
Yeah.
Right next to the doorway, bottom of the stairs. Pino almost gets him. Oh, he fires a little too early. He sees the sledge push in of Lukid and dumps a bunch of goo and then just gets out of there as quickly as he can. Rise refrags onto Pino. Down goes the Legion, so he gets caught. And it's going to be Rise pushing in. Might end up actually getting a goo or 2 for his trouble. It'll be Lukid who finds them instead. So both teams have lost 1, but I would say that the bigger loss is definitely on to Skadinia. You still have a set of smokes in the hands of Fall, so not all hope is lost in that capacity. Look to see if they have any way to push on in, as there's right now full map control for Team 1. It appears that NIP are all bodies remaining inside of the site. There's no ground outside of that that's being held. Though Julio is pretty close, Kamikaze is in the front opening to Bakery. He sees the drone go by and he'll push up. So Kamikaze is far enough off site. He'll hug that corner right next to the bottom of red stairs.
Seiko, long angle for him, and Julio might just fall back to him. Not sure if he's still laying behind the bar. Rise taking half damage here. Snake or Beam, you still have a shotgun on the singular position where your opponents can really come from. At least if you look at the red stairs. Julio has fallen back to the site, and you can hear the UMP firing into Reduct as he's now so low on health. What's the play for Team 1? They haven't been able to use that top floor to their advantage and open up more holes into the kitchen. I wonder what Luca has been doing, and yeah, there we go. Now he's upstairs, but he'll get shot right in the face. Rise! Oh, pummeled by Kamikaze. And extra smoke as well to slow things down. 3 alive, one of them barely hanging on for dear life. It's Team 1 pushing right into a shotgun. Kamikaze with another. Falls with a refrag, but it's Muzi to take him out. There's Reduct alive. He'll find 1 kill. Muzi is so low on HP, he has to rush in a singular bullet from literally anything. You can sneeze on the man, and he'll die.
Located by attackers.
Just keeps turning around at Julio. Connects, and NIP secure the second round.
Well, the thought that this is a defender-sided map doesn't appear to be dead. At least not right now. The UMP is not the best gun, but yeah, all you need to do is hit one bullet. And that's what he does. He's down for the count. Really well played by Nip to continue to hold steady without overcommitting to any form of aggressive defensive tactics. The only body they had that was playing really off-site was what we saw for Kamikaze, the smoke that was positioned perfectly. And I don't think anybody from Team 1 ever had full understanding of where he was playing. So the hesitancy of Rise to push him, and that's because you know if it's a smoke, he's going to be playing close angle with a shotgun. That thing kills you in one shot. Rise really needs to be super accurate on that one. He got pushed back from the smoke. So Kamikaze wasn't giving him a single inch. It's going to be a reading defense now for round number 3. This is a site that has an advantage over the previous mining and dining down below. No real way to worry about hatches. There's not a lot of destructibility. You as a defense can open it up. The only thing you have to be wary of is the A bomb site. B is relatively secure. You do see a fair amount of plants go down in B, usually around the doorway or possibly even in by the sofa or by the grandfather clock, which I think a lot of teams would probably refer to now as default. Not a grandfather clock, sorry. That actually looks like a cabinet.
Reloading! Cover me!
I'm trying to remember exactly if it's a grandfather clock or a cabinet.
I believe it's a cabinet.
It's a cabinet, yeah. I haven't really ever examined reading because you don't really ever see it all like that much at that intimate level.
Yeah. That's a good point. But yeah, I believe it is a cabinet felt on the floor.
Yep.
It'd be a very impressive grandfather clock. Like great-grandfather clock at that point if it's that big. Hyperbole is the name of the game today. And Pino's playing downstairs in the pulse. You can watch the hatch drop. Might be able to support Psycho, but you really want the pulse to be playing inside of reading later on in the round. Of course, in the beginning, you're not really pressured, so take things as they come to you. Double reinforcement here by Piano. NIP don't have any manpower there just yet. Muzi will find the kill on Skadinia. All right. This is working out pretty well. Just walked on in. Why would he ever do that? Why would you do that, Skadinia? He just walked in the bounce stairs. He had no support from anyone. Just got shot in the face.
Heartbeat sensor activated.
Pino is soft wall in front of him here on reading, which is usually a very tricky play to try and pull off. But it's something that NIP really want to go for because you see how much reinforcement they're putting upstairs, even along the freezer in the back.
This phone call is going to be a menace now as Nip just waits for the time being for a push on in. There's very minimal follow through. Keep in mind the mute jammers of Kamikaze will stop the calls. It's a great shot from Rise onto Psycho. Man, oh man, that was a nice shot.
Flashbang.
See how much damage that shotgun of Kaid does, though, as Rise is walking wounded for the time being. Lucan takes out Kamikaze, so there's some action from Team 1 as there's an explosion on the floor right in front of the Nomad. Uzi takes one down and falls, but he's got to fight himself out. A beautiful shot, but Reduct is there to trounce him. Rise will have to be picked back up, and then Pino decides to take the fight to him. Reduct wasn't watching the stairs, and Nip have retaken this third floor. Holding control over top of the site, it's a 2v2. And Nip are in very good position to put their third round on the board.
Oh, Julio! Beautiful play to the drop the diffuser, and Pino peeking around inside of reading as he already had play. Actually, no, he was still upstairs. There we go. Just well done. The pulse did not even need to be in reading.
No.
That's how great the round was for Nip.
Yeah. Really, really well played there by Ninjas in Pyjamas to retake perfectly. They came back up to the top floor when they knew that they had the opportunity to do so. You got to imagine that they know that their opponents are low. You can go back up and retake control, and they did that. It was a pretty straightforward move with very minimal downside if you really think about it, because there was nobody from Team 1 that was patrolling the stairs. Reduct was caught with his back turned, left Rise in a position where he'd already been down, so he was only at 20 HP, which doesn't really matter because when you've got any gun left, even a UMP is going to be able to fell you in one shot, as low as that fire rate might be. So, for the we've played 3 sides so far, and all 3 of them have had a perfect rotation. Nip started off border 3-0 and still lost the map. So keep that in mind, ye Team 1 fans, that not all hope is lost yet here. A lot of teams are still figuring out Kafe, and it does tend to be defender-sided, so just keep that in mind. We'll go back up to Cocktail to see what Nip can do on defense. And well, it's a changed composition now for Team 1. They're dropping the hard breach altogether.
5 seconds to insertion.
On a site like this, I don't know if that's necessarily the right call.
Attacker's objective is to
I mean, usually you take a thermite, you grab the wall that's over.
Are they gonna drop again?
I mean, they have a gridlock, they have a nomad, they have a Dokkaebi, they have all the makings to cut off rotations, then just hop on in.
Yeah. I think that might be the play from Team 1 here. And yeah, they're setting up the same air jabs they did before. I mean, that's the default air jab, really. There's some of them that are just natural. You're not going to be able to catch anybody as they're vaulting out. It's only when they connect with the floor, basically, where there'll be air jab. So watch for that in your own games. But that's why in the very first round, you saw that I don't remember which player was on the vault out, did not get tracked through it first, and that's the first kill for Pino. He gets tagged a bit through the Twitch drone here, but it'll fall off, as you already see. Part of the wooden railing has been opened up for him to just waltz on back down. And that's the kill on a pretty major operator, the gridlock, before any tracks could be deployed.
Yeah, that's huge. You've got 1 sets of smoke off, even though Team 1 has been running multiple sets. They've been usually having Skadinia running one, and then you've had gridlock in here coupled with a Dokkaebi, so you don't have to worry about it being a lone, I guess, a lone set. This is quite the move here from Pino. Doesn't really have to worry about getting refragged, but there you go. Skadinia just holding the door as he rushes right back in. Say goodnight. Goodnight. And Pino gets shut down. Now Skadinia has the ability to just waltz on up the white stairs as he has the first floor control and can keep maneuvering up. There's no Legion on the board, and looking at the lineup, there might be scant barbed wire. So it could be a possibility for Skadinia to just keep going.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
He's got
diffuser.
1 set of barbed wire
Attackers
just
dropped
past
the
the
diffuser.
landing, but that's really it.
Attackers
Bit of damage
recovered the
being
diffuser.
done as well on the Buck, as the Mute will also take a bit himself. But NIP are sitting pretty, and they could definitely hear that barbed wire being tagged out by the Twitch of Skadinia. And the call will come in. Muzi has the ERC completely regenerated. There's a lot of alibi prismas that have been deployed in the round, and call will auto turn off. Muzi, what a headshot, a second one possibly. He drops it, falls, never even turns around. SMG-12 now in hand as Rise will get the kill on Kamikaze. Muzi puts himself on the floor. Skadinia's coming in from behind. Muzi wins the gunfight at 3K. He looks for the 4th, but Julio's already netted it. And NIP successful on the defense again. Team 1 missing that hard breacher really just hurt them so much.
You got to imagine their whole plan just imploded when the gridlock went down.
Yeah.
You lose a good gun, you lose a noisy ability that can, hinder your defender's abilities to get back to the site, you lose your smokes. There's a lot of value in that 1 pick alone. It was massive. And it was the gridlock really that was fulfilling the role of the hard breach. Team 1 wastes no time going right back to Hibana, as it will be a kitchen defense for Nip, who so far are up 4-0. Team 1 do not look well prepared to attack Kafe at all. It's tough. It's a tough circumstance to find yourself in.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Anywho, what can be done downstairs? Well, Nip really love running the castle here on Kafe. A couple teams have done this. We've seen it in Europe as well. Not just to funnel your opponents in like usual, but also the way that Nip plays it, making sure that it's 11th hit. You also have Nip on the other side of it with a possible surprise to burst out. A lot of teams refer to that as the caged animal strat, where you lock yourself in with the castle barricade, and then you blow the castle barricade up and you burst out like a caged animal, essentially, and you go wild on your opponents. In this case, I wouldn't necessarily say that's exactly how Nip is using it, but they have double hit or 11th hit quite a bit of those castle barricades and have put themselves in positions where they can play around them quite effectively. The last time that Nip was here, you saw the smoke downstairs of Kamikaze playing aggressively inside a bakery. Nobody from Team 1 decided to push towards bakery. It was all a take towards the back of kitchen by Freezer, right now where you see Team 1. And Lukid, who before or previously has played on the Twitch, is now on the Buck, and he has free reign to push on in. It does look like somebody from Nip is going to be aggressively holding that, so it won't be totally free for them to go, as I had just
Bomb
said.
located by
But
attackers.
good drone work from Team 1 will allow them to have information in the later part of this round.
And that's information that they've been so desperate for. It's like NIP are starving Team 1 of any info that they can use to their advantage. And this is why, I mean, in this round, Team 1 abandoned their previous idea of running the gridlock, which is a great operator. It's not about the op, it's just they were missing the hard breach because the thermite was banned by themselves.
Yeah.
So now they bring the Habana. That's really the big play for them. They haven't really been able to use the Dokkaebi effectively, and nobody from NIP wants to take the gunfight. NIP always do this. They lull you into a sense of comfort, and then, oh, hello.
Nips, internet implodes. So, well, that's definitely something.
That's a way to do it.
Unfortunate, and I don't know what the admin ruling on that one is going to be. So we'll await I guess, a decision, because in theory that probably should be
A forfeited round.
for Team 1. It really depends.
Again, it's up to the admin's discretion. We just report the news. We don't.
I think they say don't shoot the messenger.
Yes.
I mean, don't shoot anybody,
Yes.
but especially don't shoot the messenger.
There would be exceptions to people to shoot.
No, don't say that. Don't advocate for violence. What's wrong with you?
Well, because they are violent and
Stop. Not on national TV.
sure. The game that people shoot at one another the whole time.
So, what's been happening so far has been total and utter dominance from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Every step of the way, Team 1 has really, really struggled, and it's very evident. There have been a couple good attempts. That first round came real close. Dropping in cocktail, you go in hot, you get the plant off, but you don't have enough coverage after the slugfest that ensues and everybody dies.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And on Kitchen, a lot of teams think that Kitchen is one of the hardest sites to attack. It really depends on the way you structure it. Hard to get a good assessment of what Team 1 was going to do there, because, I mean, there really wasn't much action that had taken place.
The thermite not being present limited their line of sight and potential walk-in into Kitchen.
Yes.
And I want to say it again. It's their fault. Guess who banned the thermite? Team 1.
Yeah, and it seems to be thwarting them really hard. Like, that's... They banned Thatcher, and then they banned Kaid on... it was Villa. Map 1 against Team Liquid, and they played it perfectly.
Yeah.
They looked very comfortable. They knew how to deal with it. They knew how to play around it on defense. They knew how to play around it on attack, and Liquid didn't really have an answer for them. This time around, you know, you have Team 1 ban Thermite, which leads me to believe that they had strategies in mind. It's not like their own ban surprised them. So they ban the Thermite, and then what happens? Well, really nothing. They looked very uncomfortable being able to take away any of the reinforced walls. They didn't run a Maverick at all. They didn't even run a Hard Breacher for one round.
Yeah.
You know, then they go with Hibana, who functions very differently on a map like Kafe. What you want to do is when you're attacking the upstairs site, you want to get the wall under Red Hatch, you want to push on in, and then you want to get probably one of the walls into Freezer, and then you want to take all that ground away from them and push the defenders even farther back.
Yeah.
And then usually keep somebody up on Skylight, or maybe somebody drops New Hatch. Sure, that's a very viable strategy, but Hibana, you can't do that. Hibana, you can open hold a crouch in on one of the walls, and then maybe a line of sight in the other. It's
not enough.
Totally different, exactly. So it's very odd that Team 1's own strategies aren't working all that well for them.
And they were starting on the attack. And I mentioned this when they banned the Clyde before, and the Thatcher, they were starting on the defense. They removed that operator, but as you said, they played it very well.
Yeah.
However, they start on the attack. This is Kafe. Like, Hibana's good, but Hibana's good if you combo it with another hard breacher.
Yes.
Not on her own. She on a map like this, where there's so many big walls for you to go through, she's not gonna be enough. You can't just bring her on her own. You're not playing Coastline, where I could just, I'm completely fine with just running Hibana.
You just need to use her differently.
Yes.
Right? You really need to use her differently, and I didn't really see anything from Team 1 that gave me confidence that they knew how to use her the way that they needed to, and yeah, they're being undone by their own ban, which is fine, because if they're able to take these next two rounds, it depends, we still are awaiting a call as to what happened on that particular round. And if Team 1 takes the second round, a 4-2 split on Kafe for how new Kafe is and where it currently sits in the meta with it being quite defender favored, that's not terrible. And if you think that that Thermite ban will pay off in the second half when Team 1 goes to defense, they could, you know, do what essentially they did on Border, which was Team 1 lost on attack 4-2, but then they ran it up on defense. They will have to replicate that on Kafe with this Thermite ban. The problem is that it's not a given that they're going to get this 5th round. It might just be replayed at a 4-0 scoreline. If NIP wins that, one will have to be perfect from there on out, which is so tough. But I mean, we've said this before. They did it on Coastline against Team Liquid. They did it on NIP to a certain extent. On Border, there's room here for them to do it on Kafe as well. Don't count this team out. They've been playing really well today, and they're on the cusp of being able to go to Raleigh.
Yeah, and the big question is, what's the problem now with NIP and their internet? And what's going on?
Well, they're coming back. 2 of them are in the lobby right now.
Oh, there you go.
So they're back.
They're all together, so once one person's back, it means that everybody's on the cusp coming back in, just restarting their wire.
They're in a gaming house, if I remember correctly, so they're all, of course, on the same modem.
Yeah.
It blows up if it starts smoking or
if a cat knocks a cable out.
Something happens, you know.
I like the cat version.
I don't know if they have it like a team cat or like a house cat.
Dude, if I played in a team or in a team house, thank God for the players that I don't, because imagine if casters played, then I would definitely have a team cat.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a commercial break for you. That's the thing we do now. We'll come back from that, and then we'll resume this matchup between Ninjas in Pyjamas and Team 1. Welcome back, everybody. I had to put my glasses on so I could see better. That happens from time to time. What? Yeah, they don't sit well with the... That's fine. It's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine.
I'm obsessive about it. Sorry.
Everything is fine. NIP are back in the lobby, and because they dropped at the time that they did, the round was awarded to Team 1. So the very first round that Team 1 wins is due to a NIP disconnection, and that's okay.
Yep.
We're going to see what happens here now, because Kitchen is still unlocked, Reading is still unlocked, everything but Cocktail is unlocked. So Ninjas in Pyjamas can go wherever they'd like on their very final defensive round. We're going to get into the game in round 6, and then
we'll see where it goes.
See where it goes from there, because it's going to be up to Team 1 to defend after that. And would you look at that? It's going to be a Reading defense, and a Monty is going to come out. All right.
Bonsoir. How are you?
The mountain.
Right.
Oh, glasses are coming off. They're hitting my head. And of course, you couldn't go from a different operator of Monty to anything but an Ashe. Skadinia's at a hot hand all day. Why don't you let him take advantage of it with the Ashe play? Whether it's a G36C or whether it's an R4C, it doesn't really matter. You can do some damage with it. So we'll get underway. with Nip's very final defense. And it's going to be on the second floor of Reading. I really would like to have actually seen how that kitchen defense played out.
Yeah, because it's like we're starving for kitchen defenses to see how it goes and learn more from it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we don't get that luxury.
That's okay. I'm sure you will see a kitchen defense at least once from Team 1,
10
so...
seconds to insertion.
And let's hope you're right, buddy.
5 seconds
So-
remaining.
Kamikaze playing the mute in this round. You'll see the setup very
Attackers are
heavy
moving out to locate a
up
bomb
here
and
on
defuse
the
it.
floor, which is obvious. Bless you.
Thank you very much. I just sneezed. Thank you for saying that. It's very nice of you. Bless me.
Bless me.
Bless me. Thank you.
Bless you all. I did just a wave thing with my hand. You can't see it. I'm a very funny guy, okay?
Yeah, you're hilarious.
So, Reading defense here from NIP, and they put a lot of manpower upstairs. Not really out of the ordinary, to say the least, but it does give a lot of work here for Team 1, or a lot of tasks for Team 1 to accomplish before they can assault the site. As we saw before, they kind of just ran in with Lukit and he died instantly. Where will Pino go? Ah, the missed Nitro will not connect. Rise will take a tiny bit of damage, but that's pretty much it for the Nitro cell. The drone will be taken away. But you'll be fine if you're NIP. You can drop down the hatches or just die. Moosey's been taken off, and Rise barely alive in the gunfight.
It's your comeback potential for Team 1, which they've shown that they can be quite exceptional at. But say goodbye to Lukid as Julio obliterates him with a C4. Scatini falls down as well as Pino. So we're back at a 3v3 with Rise, 2 kills on very minimal HP. Dear Kamikaze, I don't believe you're allowed to use that skin on your shotgun. It has Sledge's icon on it and not yours. So shotgun comes out and will not connect on the Hibana as they do a dance around the corner, and Nip just obliterating Team 1 right now as it's all up to Rise and his 2 to 3 HP. This is going to be a tall task.
So what does Rise do? He turns around to the brown stairs. So they're already waiting for him, and Julio
Goodbye.
dispatches him. And
Bye.
5-1 at the half, playing on their defense. Might have been a flawless defense. Who knows? All that we know is Team 1 were able to get 1 round off of NIP's internet drop. But here we are at the half, round 7. And Team 1 now have the potential of bringing it back, as they did against Liquid and on map 1 against NIP on border. Don't count them out, is what we're trying to say, basically.
Yeah. No way that you can count them out, even though it is a 5-1 split. So we'll go up to Cocktail now for the very first defense of Team 1 here. And they're going to bring a pretty similar lineup. There's going to be a Maestro. You'll likely see him play over in a spot that's referred to as Heaven. That's the Cocktail balcony that extends out now, that was added to this map after it was changed around. Nip is actually going to bring a Montane. So this is going to be very interesting. They'll double up on Hard Breach with the Hibana and the Maverick. So they'll be able to open up a lot more walls than we saw from Team 1. Please ignore the scores. There was a rehost, so those are not a proper representation of where they're at.
So, Seiko will be playing the Monty. So I'm assuming this is going to be a white hallway take. I know, I did just assume. But that's usually how it goes. I mean, remember Invitational 2018 where Penta Sports, now G2, used and abused the operator to walk him down where no pulse can reach him. Nitro cells only protect the Monty if he has a shield in front of him, and it does not protect anyone sitting right behind him. That's how the explosive damage works. Don't ask me. It's just science.
Just waiting down below. The lurk plays from both of these teams can always be quite effective. Nip are an excellent team with how they hold map control and how they can rotate without being spotted by their opponents. And so far, the way that NiP played it on defense was flawless. The only round they dropped was because of an unfortunate disconnect when they were up 4-0, and it gifted the round to Team One just by virtue of the time that I guess they DC'd. So these things happen. Internet issues are prevalent, and there have been internet issues in the past in every single region here. Using like yesterday, 2 of those Xkairos will open up the wall inside a piano as Julio has mysteriously lost a lot of HP right now. Looks like he's down about 55 or so. Psycho, who's usually so good with his aim and his gun skill, is going to continue to walk up towards the top of yellow stairs, unabated for the time being.
If only Team One did this exact same thing by bringing the double hard breach. Now you can even destroy the wall and just turn it into a pure piece of, well, there you go. Okay, you got the kill on the battery behind, or the mute jammer behind, or the there you go. Triple, forgot what to call it. But yeah, now it's turned to just a piece of wood, and you can easily break through that. It's not like it's not rocket science. And Psycho's up close and fighting here in the Monty. Pino's trying to contest with white stairs as Julio's been thrown away. Pino will chuck a grenade up. Won't connect, but Muzi will find Rise. Another one from Kamikaze. See here the Monty with the P9 in hand. And this double reinforcement blocking the path of Julio from the bathroom into the fridge.
This is falling apart right now for Team One, and they lose. Well, Kamikaze falls down as he tries to push on in. There goes Falls and NiP doing well, but look at Rayduct. He's made his way into Piano, and he's going to be the last one left. He's got 30 seconds to just try and hold on. This is really tough. Nobody knows. He's been so elusive. He started downstairs, he got all the way up, and he's just going to sit and wait for the time being. Gives his position away, though, as he fires his gun, or was that rather Julio who did? But the gig is up. He doesn't fight his way out of that. It's match point for NiP as they're making this a quick one. 6-1 over Team One.
And it could have already been done. Who knows? Well, possibly the end. And looking at how NIP have performed, I would not be surprised, to say the least.
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well. It's going to be kitchen for Team One with the game on the line. Go down to the site that a lot of people believe to be very easy to defend. It is kind of interesting how Bakery was definitively one of the worst sites in the entire game, and now it's in much better shape.
He's in the kitchen now.
Well, yeah, the bombs have been moved back. But I mean, other than that, it's a pretty good site.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. But the bonus that you have is that you're bringing that Maverick.
Yeah.
Double hard breach is great. The Monty's going to be able to walk in pretty much unimpeded. Smoke is going to be the big deal to kind of do away with if you're NIP and try to take him out of commission ASAP. But Team One's strategy, what is it going to be? Are they going to play more on the site? Or are they going to focus more on the shoe closet, or the closet, as you see here on this floor? Is it going to be in the small bakery? Are they going to stay mostly on the kitchen? Are they going to play on the top floor or hold on to brown stairs? There's so many positions that you can still get pushed from. This might be a good site when it comes to the site itself, but outside of it, you might be very vulnerable if you don't have anyone covering your angles and covering your back. So Psycho will drone in his teammates, and he'll spot the Legion in the back. So Skadinia, with his beautiful haircut, will have to fall back. Julia opening things up here with the breaching torch. Things kind of slow down as NIP continue to drone in.
Yeah, this always happens. It's 6-1. The team that's up is going to take a longer time than usual. You've got the carving there on the wall, and the drone gets shot. Means that Julio knows there's somebody nearby. Is it on white stairs? Is it over towards VIP? Is it over towards coat check? You don't really know. You kind of have to hope that you're going to be able to land your shots. And, well, Rayduct flies a little bit too close to the sun. And there's Julio to gun him down. And NiP already up by 1 in 1 minute into the round.
They're try to take control of the top floor. Psycho still has the Monty available, so. Hasn't really opened up anything. We're at the halfway mark in the round, and things are really stalled out for NIP. They have been able to get that one kill on the Valkyrie, with Julio being lower in health now, but you need the follow-up, and Skadinia even has a deployable shield to play in the VIP section here by the Christmas tree, and follows. We'll find Julio through one of his own holes.
That's just the Maestro doing Maestro things. Skadinia is going to be very important here at slowing down Psycho, who's now under watch. He's going to need to swing and worry because he's going to be caught in a crossfire. If he goes to push Skadinia, it's Lukid here who's going to be able to follow up, and the Monty dies. Somebody from NIP is going to have to be there to watch for him. That's going to be the major challenge. Because you've still got a trail of Legion mines, but Psycho falls off, I think very wisely, that's the correct call to make. Rotate on over possibly to the front of Bakery and switch it up. Because it's not working pushing over towards Freezer. You know that the defense is firmly entrenched over there. You see the deployable shield, you know there's 2 bodies played out. You know that you have to worry about the fact that there's going to be endless amounts of goo mines, and Bakery at least looks much more free. So 30 seconds left to match on the line. It looks like Team 1 is actually showing some signs of life. They'll lose out on another fight. It's a 3v3 now. It's Kamikaze alongside Musi can move on in. Where is Pino? That's the real question. Probably above, about to wreak havoc his sledge. Is he taking some damage as they'll have to push on in, but this is going to be very, very tough. Rise is in an excellent position to stop them. There's Skadinia. Down goes Kamikaze. Pino finds one. Musi finds another. And Musi walks right in, and that's the ball game. What a play from NIP at the last second with the Ash taking charge on 2 masterfully well done kills. And we're gonna need a 3rd map. Where today started, it'll end on Villa.
Lil Musi saves the day. Honestly, that was excellent.
Yeah, that
how do you play against that? People were kind of how many rounds did he play? 2 rounds when we came back? He got 6 kills in them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kills.
6 kills in 2 rounds, and they were all very high impact frags. So, not too bad.
People question newcomers to the team.
Yeah. Newcomers to Pro League as well. A lot of people called him the Brazilian Bolo because of the content that he creates and the way that he plays, and well, he thrives in that environment. And you might have an opportunity to see Bolo thrive later tonight, as they'll be in the grand finals for the NA qualifiers. But yeah, Bolo plays later, don't worry.
Yes.
You'll get to see him. But where we started today off was Villa, and that's where we're going to end it. But first a break, and then we'll come back with the conclusion to the Latin America qualifiers.
Located a bomb. Stagger's bomb diffuser has. Stagger's bomb diffuser has. Stagger's bomb diffuser has. 15 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Attackers have located a bomb.
Well, it's our final match of the Latin America qualifiers. Either Ninjas in Pyjamas are about to pull off a triumphant reverse sweep, or Team One, the upstart hot shots in Latin America, are about to take the spot and be the third Latin America team to play in Raleigh next month.
We might be going through the weekend of upsets. I mean, for a lot of fans that are looking out there, they might be fans of Cloud9, disappointed that they weren't able to make it through, but for at least what I've been told, fans in APAC itself that really keep up with the region more than we are able to because of time, you know, seeing Cyclops making it through is not that big of a surprise. I mean, we've seen the big upset with Forza yesterday against both Vitality and Chaos, even in an unfortunate way. You know, we might have Team One upsetting both Liquid and NIP and making it and representing Latin America as a third team in the region. And later on, you know, we have SSG, Luminosity, and TSM. Maybe Luminosity upsets everybody, fixes their problem of not having Rexon play Twitch or Jaeger, and then it'll be good to go. So,
well, you gotta hope that Team One is Team On this time on top of their game. I had to get it out of my system. Anyway,
you
I had to
count your lucky stars that the window at the studio is closed right now.
You throw me out of it.
Yes.
If you go to the gym, you're probably strong enough now.
Yeah. He made fun of my Instagram stories while we're on our way here.
That's not true. I was giving them praise. I was a fan. Let's be honest. All right, it's a Thatcher ban again. We've seen quite a few of those today.
In LATAM, never.
There's no Kaid ban, though, so one bans Thatcher, but then decides to pivot and ban Maestro instead, which is very interesting, because Nip was likely watching and just saw Team One play this against Liquid.
You know what the odd thing is? We've seen this double ban of Echo and Maestro quite a bit this evening, but it's very unusual for Latin America. If you look at Pro League statistics, it's usually the Echo banned like 75% of the time, and then sometimes you'll see a Maestro banned on his own. Rarely are there two of these operators banned together. So tonight has definitely been a pretty exciting one. I have to say, Team One, they've been just impressive this whole time. It's just Kafe against NIP. They weren't able to do anything against them really on it.
Yeah.
Might have been a full 7-0 had there not been a drop. But here we are. The only map that really matters, Parker. It's this simple. You win a few rounds, you win this map.
Villa's a good map, but it's not the only one that matters. Sorry.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. You're right. I know what you mean.
It's what I have to deal with every day.
You have to deal with me, that's true.
Yes. It's like we're an old married couple. Don't tell Enzo. It's like I'm like bouncing between my home girl and my side girl. Who's the side girl? Who knows?
10 seconds left before insertion.
I don't do that, by the way. Don't do that,
I'm
please.
more than just a side chick,
seconds
okay?
to
How
go.
dare you?
Just don't do that, by the way, for anybody watching this. I don't do that. None of us do that. Stay loyal.
Yeah.
LG loyal. Is that what they say?
Please, enough.
Save me from the nothing I've become. So, Team One spawning in here by the ruins, and Lukid playing the IQ on this round. It's gonna help you, but it's gonna be helping NIP on it is the fact that there's a Cloud and a Legion. And I'm excited to see Pino playing the headshot game on the dock again. Always good to see him, but he's not going to find anybody early on. I don't even believe he's attempting anything, but makes a lot of sense to have the dock in 90 to hold on through there, and he will at least spot, believe the... who was that even moving through? That was the Buck?
I thought it was the
No, it was the Gridlock.
I thought it was the Nomad or the Gridlock. Yeah, it was really hard to tell from the silhouette. Psycho gets kill number 1 onto Rise and shuts down the Gridlock, who you just talked about. One of the track stingers are out, so it's not a completely useless loss, or a completely useless operator in that case. Psycho is still downstairs and doesn't really know where he's going to get pushed from. Musi's above inside a study, just destroying the floors with a soft destruction. Let's see if he can do anything, or Falls rather is upstairs, not Musi. My apologies. He kills Musi.
Nitro Cell prepped, and Julia,
Missed.
not going to connect.
swing and a miss.
Yeah. Usually you see a Cloud playing with impact grenades in this position, but he has just so much flexibility in this kit. Like, oh, you want to kill? Here's a nitro cell. Oh, you want to deny? Here's double impact.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time.
I mean, denying is really strong here, and there's no 90 control, as you can see. Team 1 has it right now. And, well, there goes the bulletproof camera. So the only thing that was keeping 90 under watch for Nip is gone. And now a rotate to challenge from over towards the main stairs. It was also impossible, or the red stairs, rather. There's a frag grenade ready to get tossed out. There's a Jaeger on the board. It gets eaten, so Falls doesn't do his due diligence to make sure that he can throw anything in there if he wants to. He's got a cheeky drone now, and I think he realizes that the bar site is completely open. And this is what happens when you take the wall. The A site has to move over to the B site, and there's no defense whatsoever. There goes Psycho. He gets found, and then there's Lukid there too. Pino refrags, but still, it's Nip fighting from behind. And if they want to pull this plant off, Team 1 will have to find one body to be completely immobile. Kaid is inside a vault. He might get marked out and pushed at some point. Lukid planting, and there's no C4 from Julio anymore. There's no Julio anymore either. There's Falls. Pino down, but he's going to stim himself back up before Team 1 collapse upon him, and the diffuser goes down successfully in the dying seconds of the round, and then Lukid jumps up and is credited with the very final kill onto the dock. A perfect take and an almost perfect round going in their favor for Team 1.
And so, what's going to be the big play for NIP here? They're going to go for Trophy Statuary. They'll try to play the Cloud through there. It's unfortunate that NIP's drone play downstairs did work. It got the gridlock early on, but then the buck play was so effective. It just did so much work. Falls just kind of sat back, and everybody just walked in his line of fire, and that was really a big problem throughout the round. Maybe focusing the Cloud on pure fragging power with Nitro Cell also was a mistake. If you had the impact grenades, you could have at least delayed the round, and you saw the final push came down around the 15-second mark. So there's still a decent chunk of time for NIP to burn away. Problematic, but these are just small mistakes. But when you look at this from the outside, Team 1 throughout this entire evening have been capitalizing on small mistakes between both Liquid and NIP. Kafe Dostoyevsky aside, Villa seems to be a tough map for anyone to take Team 1 on in Latin America.
And I mean, keep in mind, this is Villa, and the attackers just won the very first round. If they can pull off a victory here, this will be huge for Team 1 to continue to carry forward. And I mean, just by virtue of the way that the pick and ban system works, you're going to have to go to a map that you might necessarily not want to play, and you might actually have to go to 2 of them when you consider that your opponent gets a pick as well. It's very likely that Nip could have just been outfoxed when it comes to this map ban phase, and I mean, given the way that you saw Team 1 absolutely dismantle Team Liquid, then yeah, I think that that's a pretty safe guess. Keep in mind that Team 1 was perfect on the 3 rounds that they needed to attack.
Seiko has some pretty well set up black eyes here, and we've seen how effective his camera positioning has been throughout the evening. Muzi, skirts right past. You're not expecting that if you have the gridlock, but Rise turns around. What a shot! With the drone helping him in what the cool kids call the mudroom.
Mudroom. Thank you, Emzo, for that one. Look at how dangerous those track stingers look up close. They look like they definitely do a lot more than 10 damage. If you stepped on those,
I don't think that's how damage works in real life.
Yeah, you step on those, you're not just like, oh, 10% of my life is gone. You're like, oh, I can't walk any longer. That's unfortunate. So,
I was quite fond of my legs.
No, I enjoy my feet, you know. So, Astro control is still in favor of Nip, but not too far off is Skadinia. He's going to hold the cross. He's got his fixating bolts. Maybe try to flush somebody out. He's going to stop a rotate. I don't know exactly what he's smoking off here. They know that there's a call that somebody's playing in the corner. There was a ping on it. You're going to hear an awful lot of the rattling of that saw, the M249 that Capitao uses. It's Pino playing behind the desk in Astro. He's going to get droned out yet again. Expect bathroom pressure soon as he loses the floor. He somehow manages to get out of there. The only hard breacher falls, but then another body from Nip is lost. Gridlock, time to get inside. It's a minute to go, and Team 1 find themselves up 4v3.
So how to hold this from the doorways? You'll find one kill. Another entry for Team 1 as Psycho tries to fight aggressively out by the connector window. It's Kamikaze on the smoke. It's going to warp on back to where the diffuser is. Oh, the flick! He finds it! Lucan is down! Kamikaze, how do you even do that? Saw an impact with 2 smokes in hand and the goo mine coming in clutch. NIP. Nitro cell thrown in the back and will connect on the Rise. The double kill. Leaving only 1 alive. Skadina's already on the floor. Oh no! The team kill from Psycho, but he saves it! Oh my god! The roller coaster of emotion. As NIP find it.
That was quite the round.
That's
quite the round.
Oh my god.
There's so much exclaiming you can do. That was...
How
really
far
something.
away is a hospital, my man?
Probably pretty close. I don't know the actual answer, but I'd imagine probably pretty close.
Yes.
Yeah. Not sure. But what an impressive showing, and of course it's Psycho who does it. Psycho, Psycho, Psycho. The amount of times that you can say his name.
I've heard it being said quite a few times.
Incalculable. So.
Only great minds like Stephen Hawking and Mr. Albert Einstein himself could have been able to fathom even the numbers that would be required
Yeah, is that so?
in saying Psycho's name. Because he is, very much so. A Psycho. A Brazilian Psycho. Instead of listening to Huey Lewis in the news, he listens to some other hit band from the region that really came into their own with their second album. Reference game on point.
Anyway. We go back to Aviator for round number 3.
5 seconds left before insertion.
There's a lot of shield play here from NIP. Even Team 1 have been running it quite consistently, but usually you don't usually see a Jaeger running deployable shield. It's usually just going for the for his barbed wire. But even 2 shields are being brought up in this case.
Yeah.
Even okay, the alibi bringing the shield is definitely an oddity compared to the usual, just because you're so used to those impact points.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody here is going to be playing 90 as well for Nip. They didn't have any control of it round number 1. They just had the bulletproof that was there. Round number 2. I guess you got Julio playing downstairs, so I guess you don't have the bodies for 90 then if he's going to be there. Usually you'd have the ACOG over on 90. That could possibly be Pino's job, but he's been inside of the site quite effectively. He's going to stay there for the time being and just patrol the doorway. Team 1 are setting themselves up in a variety of different positions, so it's hard to tell where the push is going to be from, but I'd suspect it'll go through the study. And then it'll just go into the Aviator side of things and forego the bar entirely.
Falls enters into the bedroom. He's looking around. His Rise, I'm not sure why he's using the shotgun, but fair enough.
Up a window barricade. He shot it 3 times, and interesting. Falls is fearless right now.
Huh.
There is nothing in 90. He's just being droned in the whole way. He realizes how free all of this is. The Jaeger awaits him at the end of the hall, and Pino will get the lead-off kill onto Rise. Goodbye to the Gridlock, who's solo entering. The drone will come back as they continue to push forward. Falls now sitting at 90 with Classical Hall, being, I guess, the showdown between him and the Jaeger. Falls decides otherwise. Not a lot happening here from Team 1 for the time being. You still have your Hard Destructor of Radux, who hasn't really begun to crack open the wall inside of Aviator or inside of the game site.
So Muzi trying to fight with an alibi Prisma set right in front of him here, as well as the shield. You see the alibis Prisma have been placed in a bit of a weird array by NIP. It's Julio. Flashbang is going to be thrown in as Luca is uncontested, and this falls to find Julio. Where's your alibi now? Exothermic charge is set on the floor as Luca will find another on a Psycho. Team 1 in control of this round, but Reduct will be dropped. Muzi is still alive somehow. He's beeping on the red, but Skadinja finds Pino. Now it's Kamikaze, the only person on site
located by
to
attackers.
play against 3 assaulting players. And Team 1 as Skadinja finds the head, and that's the site open.
15
Muzi
seconds
low
left.
on health as Lukid will go for the diffuser plant. An easy kill for Falls as Muzi rears his head up from the back stairs here in red. And that's all that was needed.
This aviator site is just not working out for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They can't go back to trophy for,
Oh,
hello.
hello.
Kamikaze is gone. Might need to come back to us if he can't get back in at time. And no, it will be a remake. Something is going wrong with Nip. That is unfortunate. This is the second disconnect for them. And of course, it happens at a time when it can come back to us, which is good. And nobody is going to have to worry about losing the round there.
Yeah, they'll have to see us, but
It's a damn shame that we have to be
in front of you
on the camera.
and not the
yeah.
game.
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. But yeah, I have to say, Team 1 were fairly effective on that attack. NIP have the right idea with the roam play. It's just getting it together against the way that Team 1 are tracking them around in duos has been so difficult. Every time Team 1 are getting a kill, you see they have a crossfire that's already been set up,
Yeah.
specifically on 90. Sure, the Buck walked in, but that's off of drone. He knew that there was nobody there until the main stairs.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of safe by doing it. It allowed them to just freely control the top floor.
The one thing that Team 1 did so effectively against Liquid and are now doing the exact same thing against Nip is enter quickly and take map control very fast. Rise has been picked early in too many of these maps, and it's usually a gridlock that's going down, which is an operator that you don't necessarily want to be your first one off the board because you've got the track stingers for flank. You've got it also to cover the sound of anybody shooting or anybody rushing. You've also got smokes. Gridlock brings a lot of utility, and that's a big gamble to have in your entry. It'd be similar to losing a Capitao first or any other really utility-heavy operator. And even though Rise is dying early, and there are a number of rounds where one have to play in a 4v5, they're still pulling it out. And I don't know if it's because Nip aren't comfortable defending, because on border, Nip on attack looked quite bad.
Yes.
Right now, Nip on defense look pretty bad. It is already going to be at minimum a 4-2 scoreline.
It's on defense, it's Villa.
It's possible, yeah. The only thing that Nip could win by right now is a 4-2, which is, that's to be expected, but you still have 3 more rounds to go until we get to that point. So it's very likely, especially with the fact that Trophy is the only site that Nip has won on, that they're going to go to where? They're probably going to go to Kitchen. They might go to Library.
They won it off of a clutch as well. What do you do?
Yeah.
It wasn't really...
It was Psycho clutching out on Trophy to win it with the 3K at the end.
Is this something that you can rely on? A player like Psycho, maybe, but in general, no.
Last-minute clutches are not like a sustainable way of winning rounds, right?
Like, hey, guys, make sure Psycho's the last one alive. Just don't worry, he'll do it.
The bigger issue is being in like a 1v3 or a 1v4 or a 1v2, then, having to clutch it out. You want to ensure that you're not putting yourself in that position as often as you can. And when you look at this, it was a very impressive clutch, but it could have gone either way. That last gunfight was a 50-50.
Yes.
If the Buck wins that, it's 3-0. That's it. That's really what it boils down to. It's not like you were able to, just flush them out strategy-wise. It came down to a singular gunfight with Team 1 kind of pushing all from the same direction, and that's a big part of why, Psycho was able to do as well as he did. But when you look at this, Team 1 take map control real quick. We saw 2 drones were escorting Falls in. I believe he's on the Buck. He just continued to walk right in. Nip has no control over 90, and they didn't really have much control inside of Study. They had the one body at the top of classical stairs, and then they had Julio down below. Julio down below is really risky because if you have somebody playing below sight, 2 drones and 1 person pushing in, and you're dead. And even though it's an alibi playing behind a deployable shield,
You're going to get shot regardless.
You're still dead no matter what. So I don't know if it's just Nip not being I guess the strongest on Villa, but they're going to have to fix something. They're going to have to fix something fast. Yeah. Maybe more than just fixing Kamikaze's computer. I don't really know, but they need to get up to speed really quick because right now, one is building all this momentum off of attack on Villa, and then they're going to go on a defense where they won 4-2 against Team Liquid, and then were perfect on their attacks.
The thing I'm afraid of even more for NIP is that one on their defensive side, on Villa, and I played Liquid, were very effective.
Yes.
I mean, they are not afraid to play Aviator Game Room and hold on to 90. And they were very good at that. So I wonder if NIP have anything to deal with it. Because as you said, this might as well have been a 3-0. Off of a clutch, sure. Beautiful one, to say the least. But
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
it
bombs
wasn't
as they can.
Team 1 outplaying or NIP outplaying Team 1. It was, we'll hopefully maybe be able to find something at the end, and we did. But man, it got too close.
Yeah. Way too close for comfort for Nip on that one. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a different calculation. Maybe have somebody go 90, just because when you hold 90, you hold so much control, right?
I'm expecting Pino to do that. You know,
That's the best place for him to go.
He's bringing the dock. He's got a bulletproof camera. I mean, the Maestro's banned. This is literally the best operator to run in the situation if you can't run either the Echo or the Maestro.
The only problem with playing there is that a good Nomad, a good Gridlock, or a good Capitao will stop you. In this case, Capitao, despite not being banned, he's, you know, not being played, which is fine. But I don't know. Nip's map control has been really tenuous through these 3 rounds so far, and I think they just need to do a better job of ensuring that where they're holding actually matters to the push. And with how good Team 1 have been and how thorough they've been with droning and with pushing on in unison, barring Rise dying early a couple times, then, you know, I think Nip could turn this one around. But right now, ONE are looking almost flawless in the way that they take this. And here we go. They're not going to be defending 90 again. Muzi is going to be up on main stairs with a deployable shield. He can cover the floor below, and he can swing up to study if he needs to. It's really going to come down to whether they're able to hit their shots around this deployable shield. The first set of track stingers are going to go out. 50 seconds in, that's going to be a flank route cut down, and it's going to be an annoyance for the defender staff to deal with.
Difference now that Julio's playing on 90 on his own. At least you can't catch him off downstairs, as you mentioned. A couple drones and a couple players moving in and clearing him out.
A bomb has been located.
Muzi a bit too aggressive here, but he won't be found and no damage will be done. As Falls has moved in, and you hear, look at on his IQ, sniping away with the suppressed pistol. Oh, Skadinia gets shot from the drone hole. Gotta be careful here as Pino's prone on the floor and he forfeited the position, but Psycho will find the kill on Lucan. There we go. That's what you were looking for. Skadinia is also very low on health. There's few players that run this position, and when you want to play against it, you have to drop to the floor and try to fight it, but as an attacker, you end up more often than not exposing your head, and it just turns it into an easier kill for the player that's playing inside of the gun vault.
Hold off for the time being, as it actually looks like Team 1 are struggling through the middle part of this round, which is not common for them on Villa.
Changing mag.
It's a nice pixel angle that Pino's holding, and it'll stop anybody from being able to get through the door. Interesting wall to take there, and I mean, there's no plant denial at all. I find that kind of interesting that they shoot out the floor, because if there's no plant denial, you're not going to bother to thermite the floor. That could also just work if somebody's playing below to possibly shoot out the exothermic charge. Rise has used his smokes, but he still has his track stingers, and Gridlock's going to get right in the doorway, take a little bit of damage, and Pino will be able to get himself back up. Or rather, all the track stingers are gone, and there goes your first smoke grenade. Still waiting for Gridlock to push around. A beautiful shot from Pino. Takes the head right off of Rise. This has not been the hottest so far. Skadinia now trying to go up against this Valkyrie here for Psycho, but Psycho doesn't lose those fights, and you're coming very close to a flawless round, which is what we will get with Ninjas in Pyjamas.
All right.
Tying this scoreline up and finally breaking this streak of losses on Aviator.
That's the recovery that was needed, and I have to commend the Valkyrie playing there. This is the downside of running the ARX on Nomad. It's an amazing gun. It does a ton of damage, no question about that, but when you need the extra firepower, you'd love to have the AK-74. And in that position, you ran out of ammo. You know it's a low rate of fire. You can kind of guess as well if you're the Valkyrie, and you just wait until there's no ammo left. Peek around, get an easy kill. 90 all secured. And there was no way. Had 90 been taken, though, by Team 1, the results might have been a bit different. But at that point, the round was kind of already lost. NIP recover. But 2 rounds have already been secured by Team 1, which is the bare minimum, if you look at things historically speaking. For Villa, should Team 1 grab a third round and put it on the board, that will definitely be a difficult position for NIP to get out of once they head to their attacking side. Again, this is all statistically speaking. So what'll be the big play? The Mozzie will be brought out, as we'll see the dog again from NIP. Pino yet again on it. We have the Gridlock, the Nomad, the Buck, the Thermite, and the IQ for Team 1. Hopefully, this for them. They don't lose players early on. I wonder if Pino is just going to be playing inside of Astronomy. Seems like it. Only a barbed wire. No bulletproof camera position.
This round, I have a feeling, is going to have quite a dramatic impact on the way that this map plays out. This is an opportunity for a draw on their first set for Team 1. This would be very big for them. Could possibly push it in their favor. Some delightful music to serenade us as we go through this match.
Drone is ready to go.
Oh yes, very beautiful.
I'd have a wine tasting as we take a look at analyzing the Girl with the Pearl Earring, a fantastic painting by Monsieur Vincent van Gogh.
Yes, this county is quite dry.
Of course, you'd be focused on the wine.
Of course. Yes.
More in the art than the music, but sure.
I mean, the music is good, but I'm not a classical music guy enough like that.
Nah, you can jam out to a lot of genres at least. But
you think just like for April Fool's Day, they just like you come on a villa and it's playing like
hard rock.
It's playing like Iron Maiden.
Oh, I need it.
I know you'd like that.
I would love that.
People would say we licensed Iron Maiden for one day. Anyway, it's going to be a master take for Team 1. They've got all their ducks in a row just outside of the window. Astronomy, of course, will have the Doc playing. That's going to be Pino yet again on the ACOG. Oftentimes, you'll see a smoke play there. You'll see an ACOG there. It really depends on, who you're looking for. In this case, it's going to be Pino. Pino's been having a really good day. So has Muzi. Muzi in particular has been having an excellent night. Which is, as you'd expect.
He's racking up the kills, but you look at map 1 and it's kind of not helping NIP too much.
Yeah.
The fact that NIP were able to win the 2 rounds is just them stabilizing back into the constant meta of this map.
Sturt and Drone get caught by Julio, and if he's in a position where he doesn't die early, he can utilize that to his team's advantage. Kamikaze gets baited into pushing up to the master door, and it's Luke Kid with the very first kill.
Psycho just now turning around into 90, and the diffuser's being set. Oh my, there's just no play from AVG. It's a 1 kill with a refrag. Coming the way of Rise, Julio. Downs reduct. Muzi eliminated. You see Julio and the Mozzie still on the site. They split it here between Pino and Julio. They'll find 1 kill. A beautiful headshot from Pino. Lucan with a team kill, but Scatinha will finish them off with 2. And Team 1 get 3 rounds on the attack. It's no bueno.
And that's a huge victory on Villa. Huge victory on Villa, tiebreaker map, and you're going to draw your attacking half. That's excellent. You're going to draw it at least. There's still a possibility for Team 1 to take this final round and definitively win it. That's very impressive. And is likely a tilter for Ninjas in Pyjamas as well. Oh, they'll go back to trophy statuary here.
I look at it this way. You're playing an Aviator, you're defending a trophy statuary, right? Mm-hmm. That's okay. You need to have at least one player holding off in Aviator game room. Sometimes you have another playing around the staircase and a 90. That'll help them. 2 players in that position, completely normal, right?
Right.
Well, there's only one, the Valkyrie on her own. The Valkyrie on her own is a great operator, but not in that position. You still need someone to kind of support her. And by the time that Psycho was able to get himself in a better position in 90 to do anything, it was a bit too late. I was looking at it and I saw the IQ moving up with the Buck next to her. I don't remember who it was, but they walked onto the island on top of the stairs. I'm like, they're just dead. There's no way they survive. But they did. There was no follow-up. And I get there's cameras everywhere, but the IQ is going to deal with them, and the response from NIP was just too slow.
Yep. Way too slow. Couldn't react fast enough, and they'll have to fix those issues for their very final defense here. It's not boded well for Nip to carry on over, and attacking on Villa while you find yourself not holding a lead is not an ideal circumstance or situation. So far, Team One have actually been quite effective in every way. They've been doing good across the board. Obviously, Skadinia and Lukid, just by nature of the roles they play, have been exceedingly good at getting kills and chasing off anybody they play against, be it Liquid or Nip. But what a run this has been for Team One. Even if they end up falling short here to Ninjas in Pyjamas, there's been a lot of benefits, and it's been a bounce back that I think they needed after coming back down to earth in Latin American Pro League. Got Musi playing on the main stairs yet again. And you've got Psycho just a little bit off-site. Not surprising. You're going to expect to see these two roam quite a bit. I don't know if this is a push-in through Astro or if those flashes are just getting thrown in through the Astro window. But Julio knows there's going to be somebody entering below. That's Gridlock. And if he sees this, always sees the arm, he just waits very patiently with the door frame visible on the right-hand side, but he misses his shots. And now the Gridlock is going to know he's there, so it's time for Julio to move, and move is exactly what he does. But Rise is too worried about something happening down below. Say goodbye to Pino. That's Astro control gifted to Team One, though there is a rotate hole with Julio playing nearby, so he can go there in a pinch if needed.
Julio unable to win the gunfight from the top. Now he's going to be watching onto Astronomy Stairs. Drone from Reduct will be taken away as he walks on in. This is a very interesting way of setting up inside of the bathroom here, but we'll see the stun grenades being thrown in. Smoke in the back won't be caught. Kamikaze will go for the double impact grenade. Unfortunately, it's a bit too slow. And the wall will be opened up regardless by the thermite.
Psycho's got this tight angle here. You know that there's one inside a closet. Falls off, but Psycho misses his shots. He hesitates just a bit too much. Lights up Skadinia alongside Julio, and the two of them will be credited with a wonderful kill. There's Musi to take out Falls. Rises there, and Musi still on Astro Stairs. He cannot be shaken off of this position. He's claimed the diffuser inside a bathroom, and this is going to be very difficult over the final 30 seconds for somebody on T1 to get it. It's going to be all in the hands of Lukid now as his teammate rises down. It's a refrag, but he'll wait to see if he can get anything from Astro. There's a Nomad's air jab that goes off, so you know the position of at least one of the defenders. But it's all up to Musi and Julio to hold down the fourth. There's a punch hole in the desk, and Lukid doesn't know where to shoot. This looks like a clean round for Ninjas in Pyjamas, and it will be exactly that. A 3-3 scoreline is what these teams will walk away from. That's a victory for Team One, though.
No question about it.
And they'll go on to defense.
No question about it, Parker. 3 rounds on the attacking side of Villa is pretty darn good. And remember, they were pretty close to getting a fourth. So it's all on NIP at this point in time. They can their fate is in their hands. Really gonna have to play out of their minds on this attacking side. Not unlike what Team One were doing when we were on map number 1.
Yep.
And it was the reverse on border. So now the Dokkaebi will be played by Julio. Again, afraid of the potential roam play from Team One, as you'll see the Thermite switch off to the Maverick.
Julio's been rocking this Dokkaebi a lot in Latin America over the last little while. He seems very comfortable with its kit. She doesn't have the best arsenal when engaging other people.
Yep.
Having a DMR, because I mean nobody's really using the Boss G on attack, coupled with an SMG-12, which can be really unwieldy, or the C75, which a lot of players complain about the iron sights aren't comfortable using. I mean, she still brings so much utility, though. The phone calls are annoying, even though they're countered much easier, and there's a mute on the board in Falls, so you just need to step into the radius of one of the jammers to get the logic bomb to stop. But still, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And keep in mind, you got smokes as well. Be an aviator defense for Team One's first take here on the side switch. Villa earlier, they went 4-2. And if that happens, well, they win this match, and they win the spot in Raleigh.
It's that simple.
It's really that simple. Both these teams are just 4 rounds away, you know. So
Mathematically speaking, yes. So we'll see the double shotgun play. But remembers a day where it was pretty difficult to run a single shotgun and get all the work done. That view change definitely did help. And NIP are actually wasting no time taking control of bathroom, just not allowing Team One to set up in more comfortable positions off on the entry.
They are in so deep already, and they can continue to push. They need to be able to take map control as effectively as we've seen Team 1 do before.
Air jab planted.
Uzi sets down the anti-flank air jab over the stairs that lead up to Astro. The problem with something like that is that even if it goes off, you don't know where they're going to be coming from after. You have to watch either trophy or statuary. But I mean, I guess that's more effective than just simply throwing down 2 over both of those doorways. We'll assemble the troops still inside of the landing area over by the statuary door and push on up. I think Psycho's wary of somebody coming up the main stairs, or red stairs rather, which is where Musi is. And there goes an air jab, just behind the potted plant. That is shootable, but a lot of people won't be expecting to see that there. Once again, no 90 control from either of these teams, as the Buck and Musi are situated over by 90.
Psycho close to finding the kill in the back, but it's a quick QE peek from Team 1 to spot him. You see the same position that we had Pino running before, playing just on the floor in the back of the gun vault, and just playing the drone hole. No avail so far. 2 no avail so far. Psycho taking away the goo miners, is deployed right at the doorway here. I'll try to find a kill in the back. There's soft wall, there's the bar that you can't shoot through, and he'll lose the gunfight to Falls, who's low on HP but still alive, and a nitro cell in the back pocket to use should things go awry.
This is tough for Nip now to move on in as the smoke will impede them. Perfect timing, but Falls gets a little bit too brazen. He pays for it. There's no study control just yet, so there goes a frag grenade. It doesn't look like it will hit. Rise takes out Musi, and Nip are now at a disadvantage. 20 seconds left for them to work through the site, and it's a 4v3. Phone calls will signal the push, and the smoke looks the wrong way. That's Pino getting the frag, and Kamikaze with one as well, and now it's a Nip advantage. They just need to hold on to the site control that they have, and it'll need to be a retake. This is going to be very difficult. The Buck is watching an angle, and you'll have to peek around the corner from the Jaeger, who won't be able to do it in a 1v3. He sees a dive in, but isn't able to light up anybody. Julia losing a bit of HP, a successful plant for Nip, and this is the start that they need. Very tough for Lukid here. He's only got 1 door frame to go with to enter. He doesn't really know what to do. The moment he wanders into the site, he's going to be in the crosshairs of a variety of different Nip players, and so Lukid heads on over to 90, but he's going to pre-fire because he's totally blind. Heads on over to the vault, and it's Pino to shut him down. The Buck sitting there, and he'll lock that one away. Nip will take their very first round on attack. They really need it, and they need a couple more to keep this going.
I love that Maverick playing 90 to open up the hole into the gun vault, and just very well played by NIP to realize that the opportunity is right there in front of them. But it was also smart from T1 to peel off the site. They know they were going to lose it. Unfortunately, as they were trying to get in a better position where multiple players are near one another and they can support one another with the crossfire, they got picked off. Unfortunate. It was a smart play, but NIP were really on point in the round. And they just had too many bodies really left to close up these sorts of gaps in their play. And here we go back again into game, and we're going to go to the same site. Usually teams do this because they realize that, okay, our problem was XYZ, let's try to work on it. If not, we move away. I really hope that Team 1 don't get stuck in the same mindset as some teams do, or just keep repeating the same time and time again. And so,
I don't know what this conga line is for Team 1 over towards Trophy and Statuary.
Playing bedroom. It's such a strong position for the attackers.
Nip did this as well. They reinforced the walls leading into bedroom, barricaded everything up, and then got out of there. And they didn't really defend it at all. And Team 1 just kind of walked right through it. Interesting choice. Not entirely sure, but anywho. Scadini is going to sit on main stairs with a deployable shield in a different direction. He'll catch anybody that enters through the studio below. You got 3 Valkyrie cameras. I highly doubt Falls ran a bulletproof, so those are going to be the only pieces of intel aside from defaults. That'll be where Reduct has put those 3 cams. And yes, indeed, it's a nitro cell on false, so no bulletproof camera in play here. This is very interesting. The Rook is going to play main stairs and watch 90 from there, but it's not going to do anything if hard destruction goes onto the vault wall. And the only hard destruction that's being brought is the Maverick. So you don't need to rely on a Hibana as much. I mean, she's banned. Sorry, a Thermite as much. I looked up at the banner at the top. I was like, oh, Hibana's banned. And I was like, hey, you don't need to rely on Hibana. Oh, she's banned. I don't know how to do my job.
It's lapses. It happens.
I've had a lot of lapses today.
Yeah. It's the first thing that happens when you've been diagnosed with Ligma.
I'm very worried it will turn into Sugma. That's why you have to go. That's why you have to go get treatment immediately.
Exactly. That's why you had to go and make sure that it's not
the
lupus
content
as
creators.
well.
Yeah, it's the content creator's curse.
Unfortunate.
Don't start with the lupus jokes. I am dumb.
So here we are. Your research.
I googled my symptoms. Goodbye, Reduct. I googled that one, and it says Kamikaze is dead.
Yeah, his symptom is he has the dead.
His symptom is he definitely caught Ligma there.
He has the dead, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Reduct is barely alive here. It's a beautiful nitro cell to hit the Maverick. Wonderful blade. I was talking about the same thing last round. It's like, whoa, Maverick really detected it. But this time, he gets nitro. The Reduct will be lost thanks to Pino downstairs. But hey, the work's been done. You burn out so much time away from NIP. They don't have a heart breach anymore.
The problem is you can't do anything with that wall now. And it's at a position where if somebody stands up, it might just be a little bit above hev level, so it's not going to be the best place. They know that the Jaeger is nearby, though. Lukid will win this fight if somebody pushes, but he falls off and decides to run. A frag grenade sails down, won't be caught. It's time for Musi to charge into the site, but there's a well-timed toxic canister. 20 seconds left, that's it. And down below, Lukid doing quite a bit of damage onto Psycho.
15 seconds
He'll just wait. He'll be a difference maker if there's pings in sight, but he doesn't have any plan denial other than just shooting through the floor. Rises gun down as Julio is in, looking for a two-piece, but he can't connect. There'll be multiple bodies going up, and the only one left is Lukid. Musi will have to go for the plant, but Nip with a total lockout, and it's an attacker favored. Villa absolutely all the way down. 2 for Nip, as Aviator is a failure for Team 1 yet again. 2 rounds away from Nip going to America.
What's going on?
Well, people died.
So now, the big question is, I know we've been asking a lot of questions today. It's kind of been my go-to sentence for the evening. But what will NIP do? They need at least this round. And again, it's the attacking side. Who would have thought Villa would be such an attacking-sided map, right? But here we are. NIP playing it well, and a lot of work done off the back of the Dokkaebi of Julio. He's just been hitting those calls, perfect timing, and then doing work with a kit that doesn't really lend itself to killing anymore. I mean, yeah, sure, the Mark 14 is good gun at range, but it's not really the go-to weapon for anyone when it comes to CQC fighting. And SMG-12 is not, or CZ-75 is definitely not the old SMG-12, but here you go. He still does the work, and he finds the impact frags of the rounds and makes sure that Team 1 are eating their words every single time. So Team 1 are going to be reinforcing upstairs. Make sure they can hold on to trophy and statuary. It's very normal for any team. As you saw NIP running a similar strategy, they failed on their defense of this site. They had the Valkyrie playing in Aviator Game Room solo. The question is going to be, what does Team 1 do to hold this off? How many bodies will they set up here? And so far, there's quite a few, actually.
I mean, the Clash is a good choice. I think that's the right call to make. Bring out the Clash, see what you can do, slow them down, and then go from there, right? You're going to try a new site, try and maybe break up the momentum that NIP has been building. This is 3 rounds that NIP have won in a row. I actually don't know what that skin is that the smoke has, by the way. The yellow, or no, the orange skin. Looks like almost like an orange lifeguard vest. Oh boy, there goes Reduct. I don't know what the mute was doing, but finds himself in harm's way.
Stand behind the shield. Behind it, not in front of it.
I don't know if that was a misplay from Falls or not, but Pino's got a frag grenade with his name on it and doesn't cook it enough. There you go. Maybe try and keep the clash close enough, but no, a second grenade goes in, and this is a bit of a misplay from Pino to use that utility and not correctly. You haven't really done much for the clash here. You can pinch her quite easily, providing there's nobody from Team 1 watching the Classical Hall. You can post somebody up and just push from both angles, and she's dead. Doesn't seem to be the case, though. So Falls has gotten away. Very slippery.
Psycho still on the drone here. Pino is possibly looking for a second kill. Good thing for NIP is that they cleared Aviator Gamer. So now they won't have to worry as much on the push. And great thing for them as well is that Psycho is running the Zofia. Deal with the clash effectively. Taptao is not banned, but he's not played in this here round. Psycho will spawn clash. A tiny bit of damage to him, but he has the utility available for to a 2 deal. With the clash, only 1 though. It's available, and all of those lifelines. He's trying to zap through the wall, at least the edge of the wall. It's kind of like a beam coming out of it.
Realistically, could have put his shield away and engaged there if he really wanted to. There goes another toxic canister, and phone calls will continue to ring, but Falls knows it shuts off after a period of time. Pino gets baited into the line of fire, and Skadenia says goodnight and tucks him into bed. Falls still just waiting. The focal point here and the greatest piece to try to figure out in this puzzle that is the Team 1 defense. Clash single-handedly keeping this one in play, but there's 2 kills for Nip. That'll leave the Clash and Skadenia left alive. They don't know where the dock is. They're getting shot out of nowhere. Down goes the Clash. So it's Skadenia knocked over by the air jab, and he needs to get out of there as quickly as he can. Nip on match point, qualifier point.
Julio is putting NIP on his back and ferrying them over to the airport at this point in time. That Dokkaebi play has just been so instrumental to guarantee enemies W. Again, as you say, 1 round. You're literally 1 round away from making it to the second most important tournament of this entire year.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal, to say the least.
Nip did not qualify for Milan. They fell short. They didn't make it out of group stages at the 6 Invitational.
They were the first team to lose and be dropped out of the Invitational.
Immortals and FaZe have represented this region at both Rio as well as Milan. It was Liquid and FaZe who represented the region in Atlantic City. Like we said,
Attackers need to locate
barring
and defuse
runs
as
through
many bombs as
qualifiers,
they can.
NIP have not made it to a seasonal lance in Sao Paulo at the end of 2017. People like to joke that Bosco is the gatekeeper of qualifiers because he has never lost a qualifier before. He's qualified for every major in which they've been qualified. But NIP has just as impressive a track record. When you think about it, NIP qualified for the Invitational. 2018, they got in because they were in Sao Paulo and the 8 teams qualified. The Paris Major, they got in through the qualifiers. 6 Invitational this year, they got in through the qualifiers. And now we are potentially 3 minutes away from the 3rd time in a row of Ninjas in Pyjamas winning the qualifiers. They are the gatekeepers of Latin America when it comes to qualifier spots. They have ran the gauntlet. They have not lost. They have done an impressive 2-0 over so many teams, and now find themselves losing a map to Team 1, which is not terrible. Team 1 have looked quite strong. Team 1 are on defense, so they do have somewhat of an inherent advantage on Villa, but maybe it's just the operator bands playing around with no Maestro and no Echo. Maybe it's the Hibana and Thatcher bands on attack that really don't seem to be that effective. But ultimately, the attackers are having a whale of a time with 6 of the 9 rounds won so far in this matchup. It sounds like it's going to be an early push. Air jabs go down. Mute jammers will thwart some drones for the time being. Logic bomb will make it so that the defenders will be at least somewhat audible to the attackers. Psycho on his belly pushing on up, waiting to see if somebody will peek around the corner, and just waiting for the head. Just a tiny peek.
Here you go.
To land those shots, Psycho blow this thing wide open and say goodbye to Skadenia. Team 1 losing a body the first minute, a peak that I don't think Skadenia knew would happen. And this is good, very good to start off with for NIP.
Skadenia will skedaddle away from this round. You can still see the clash in the back, but there's one player spotted as well. Inside 2 actually being set here by Team 1. Huge dedication onto Aviator Game Room, and what a play from Psycho, but Lucan will take him away. Lucan with another one as he drops the diffuser carrier. Turns around with a pistol, but that's the CZ-75 rattling out. Rise will find Julio and save his teammate. Not for long as Muzi takes down Lucan. That's so much damage has already been done to the Nomad. The round has been flipped on its head, Parker. How does this even happen?
Rise is so far away. He's all the way in statuary and will have to come back to sight. I mean, Pino's got the diffuser. They can just plant, but I think they're very wary of a retake, especially one that's going to be quarterbacked by Falls. Rise gets droned out, so they know that he's playing in statuary. You don't necessarily want to push him. You need to walk into the actual site over by Trophy, so they don't have the full control. I thought the site was Armory yet again. Falls continues to back up, and well, Muzi's going to be choked out. He will die to 1 tick of damage. This is troublesome for him. Trying to possibly draw somebody out. The clash is still there. You have no frag grenades to deal with her. Muzi can't really do all that much. There's no effect here. Down goes the smoke, and it's all in the clash in a 1v2. But keep in mind, the taser can kill Muzi. Oh, Falls pulls out the gun. He's got the SMG in his hands. He'll hit the deck, and he's going to need to hit his shots. He knows the buck is going to come swinging around the corner, playing around the chassis.
Oh,
Pino will be there, and he'll send ninjas in pajamas. And how about ninjas in Raleigh? Congratulations to NIP for making it as the Latin America qualifier champion. They will be in Raleigh, North Carolina next month. One of 3 Latin America teams, and what an impressive performance. 5 consecutive rounds in a row.
4 of them on the attack. And this is attack on Villa. What is going on today?